It's the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic, and special show today. Amy Fadul joining me today. Hello, Aim.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm great. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today and tomorrow.
We're happy you are here, and we're happy that we can talk some positive things about the Phillies today, right?
Finally.
All right, they have taken 2 or 3 from the Cubs. Luzardo shakes off the goo that had covered him for 2 straight starts. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. Turner and Bohm stay hot. Bohmy with 4 RBIs. The Phillies get 10 hits in the game. He's now hitting 283, and at one point of the season, he was hitting a $183 or whatever it is. Oh, he's raised his average considerably. And Trey Turner keeps hitting 303 at this point. Now, they did strike out 9 times yesterday, but they did get 3 in the first off of former Philly farmhand Ben Brown, and that turned out to be enough. Bohm with a ground out scored Turner, who had played some little small ball, single, got the second. Schwarber walk, stole third, double steal. Kepler with 2, a double and an RBI. Real Muto infield single, RBI, and in the third, the Schwarber homer makes it 4-0, and that was about it. They tacked on 2 in the fourth on a Bohm 2 RBI single. So I ask you, Aim, is this encouraging enough to be out of the panic that Philly fans had been in?
Yes, I think it is. I mean, I don't think it was a full-blown panic, but there was definitely concern. I think anytime you get swept by the Pirates and you saw the abysmal offense, there's got to be some level of concern. I think you wanted to look at that series as a bit of a blip, but when there was 3 straight games where it was 1 run, 2 runs, you couldn't get anything across. It was disappointing, but I thought that this was a good series. It's obviously it's the Central leading Cubs. It's a good team. You were able to rack up, and most importantly, not only did you rack up the runs early, but you continued to pour it on. I mean, we saw that even in the loss. They got the runs early. Unfortunately, they didn't score any more after that. To me, it was more important to keep the runs coming, to make sure that you weren't good with the four runs, 2 runs, 3 runs. You know that no matter how your bullpen is going, hopefully they go well, but you need to have as many runs to secure that and feel a little bit safer. So, yeah, I mean, I feel much better after watching this series.
Yes. I need to understand. They had Bohm back at third base. I never understood why they had moved him in the first base in the first place with Otto Kemp playing third base. But they finally got, isn't it safer to have Otto Kemp play first and have Bohm play his natural position?
And that's the thing. I mean, I guess they figured Bohm had played it before, and they were trying to get the young kid Otto Kemp some work. He played the majority of his minor league starts at third base, but he's played everywhere. I mean, he's done so well down there at AAA. They wanted to find him spots. So he's had times at second. He's had times in the outfield. So I think that yes. I mean, let's not mess with a good thing. You mentioned how well Bohm's hitting in his last 32 games. He's actually batting like, 334, something like that, 333.
He's on fire.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for a guy like that is as streaky as Alec Bohm can be, it's like, all right, well, let's not try to break him anymore.
Did he pull a ball yesterday for the first time in a while?
It would have been a hot minute.
Yeah, he actually pulled a ball. I mean, I always wanted him to be more of a pull hitter, and he just falls in love with hitting the ball the other way. And gets a lot of singles, but I'm okay with it because he's on a streak right now. So they played a good team. The Cubs are a very good team, and they took 2 or 3 from them. So we can't sit here and rip them at this point.
Well, no. I mean, I think you can still look at some of the things that they're going to need to address at the trade deadline. I think that one thing we talked about on Shameless Plug Sportsnet Central this morning, it was the lack of pop in the outfield. 16 home runs from your outfield. That's good for only 24th in baseball. That's not good enough. You need to have a little bit more than that. And you thought it was going to be added on. Castellanos had that weird ball that looked like maybe it was a home run, but they reviewed it and it wasn't. But I feel like that there's still some things you can address without being in a full-blown panic. I do think that there were some good signs. I thought you mentioned it at the top, though. Luzardo finally having like a shutdown inning was those 2 guys got on base and then he struck out the rest of them. And I thought, thank goodness, because the last 2 times he pitched, Weston Wilson came in. That's how bad they were.
I love following the standings here to see where they are in the playoff hunt. So now they've got 39 wins, and they've jumped ahead of the San Diego Padres. So they're now in the 5th slot. And, the thing, I look at the Cardinals, I look at the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're stagnant at 36 right now. So they get a little breathing room.
Yeah, a little bit of breathing room.
Update this every day, this playoff standings.
I like it.
All right. By the way, we got to talk some Eagles stuff because I don't know. I want to run this by you because it's something I talked about yesterday. I have a little bit of a fear of smelling yourself, as John Chaney used to say, where the Eagles have done so much celebrating in the offseason that I worry that they're going to lose their focus coming into this year. Do you share that thought at all?
I would share it with maybe certain players. I would not share it about certain players though at the same time. Like Jalen Hurts does not strike me as a guy
you're right,
that would ever do that.
Yes.
He just
That sounds like a DNA thing.
Yeah, it's a,
Yeah,
it's like a DNA thing.
You know, he's iron sharpens iron, and then keep the main thing the main thing. I mean, he's a robot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that there could be that idea. You would hope that the youth on that would be able to overcome anything of like, because they really haven't been there before. There isn't a whole bunch of carryover. The Lane Johnsons of the world, they don't strike me as guys, but I would think there could be that thought of, wow, look what we did. Look where we are. We're the top dog. All we have to do is maintain, and everybody's, still going to fall by the wayside. And I would worry about that with some of the guys that are a little bit younger.
My microphone.
Yeah, you just
keeps
dropped it.
flopping. I've had an infinite microphone for a long time now. And I hate when that
It did. It
happens.
literally just fell right
I
over.
hate when that happens. But in any event,
Ray's off. Ray's done. You killed Ray.
Brian Dawkins was quoted in a story today, and I go, I don't know if he's sharing my opinion here. He says, you have to put the Super Bowl in your past. It's in the past. You won it. Congratulations. But at this point, where you are right now, already into the OTAs, you have to put that behind you, and you have to fall back in love with the pain of the grind, the pain of being honest with what you see on film. Ray, is he back in my fears?
When I read it, I thought that it was you. I was like, it's Dawkins quoted? I thought this was Mike Miss getting a little shout out in the Inquirer.
I don't know. It feels like he's got my same fears. Like, a guy like Brian Dawkins is never going to have fun. Like, he would never have
Too
fun.
locked in.
Yeah, he would never have fun in the off season. Well, like he's worried. Like he mentions. Did he mention him or did the writer mention? Reed Blankenship and Cooper Jean and Quinyon Mitchell and those
That's
guys.
some of the younger guys.
Yeah, those guys have fallen in love with getting acclaim here from a championship, and I worry about that. I'm telling you, I need my players not to have fun.
Well, the thing is, Cooper DeJean was so hungry for it last year because he started off. He wasn't there in the early parts of training camp because he was injured. He wasn't a starter to start the season. So you want to have him still have that edge, and you do worry now. You see how much he's enjoying it. There's probably a fine line between enjoying it and trying to lock back in. It's hard to say that right now, June 11th, or 12th. I hear the point. I think there are some players you could be concerned with, but the main players I think are going to be like Quinyon Mitchell is a guy that's been slighted his entire career.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's going to be a guy that rests on his laurels.
Okay, I hope you're right. Charity softball games, partying down the shore, being honored by their hometown.
Oh, they're good. Yeah. Devontae Smith's got the softball game coming up. The party down the shore is the same day as the NBA draft. That's Kelsey's event, which is always a big to-do. Yeah, that's true. We'll see.
Like
It's got 6 weeks.
It's like the Nick Saban commercial.
They got
No fun.
Yeah. They got 6 weeks until camp. 6 weeks.
All right. By the way, I'm wearing a hat today. If anybody out there who's watching this on YouTube can connect the dots about my hat, you'll win I don't know, my admiration. We don't have a prize for anybody, right?
We'll find a prize.
Can anybody figure this out? Why I have this hat on?
Do they see it? Should I Google it?
Can you? No, you can't Google it.
No.
You have to guess. Do you have to connect?
No.
You don't have to
It's-
connect
It's
either,
Steelers colors, and
Yeah,
it
it's
says
something
pipe, so I got something with Steelers.
It has nothing to do with the Steelers.
I got nothing. Easton?
No.
I got nothing.
Western Pennsylvania, Penn State connection.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it has a Penn State connection either. It has no Penn State connection whatsoever. But somebody will get it. Somebody will
right.
get it. So it's just
Hopefully
like
everybody can check
I
it
wore
out.
it today. This was given to me yesterday by our good friend Mike from Cosme's, who, if you know anything about our connection, I can't give you a hint.
Oh.
I can't give you
No
a hint.
hints to be given.
No hints at all. All right, so here's how you get in. 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. Text board, phone lines are wide open. How do you feel about the Phillies now that they've taken 2 of 3 against the Cubs? Are you still ambivalent, or are you saying, they've righted the ship, they're good? Mike Missanelli Show with Amy Fadul today, back after this.
We want to hear from you. So
Mike Missanelli Show. All right, I'm following the chat today, right? I got the chat up.
Oh, boy.
And the chat is all over my Ampipe hat. But first of all, they're all over Amy's Wawa shirt. Schwarby. Oh, it's just a Hoagie Fest shirt.
Hoagie Fest, but it could be a Schwurbomb.
It could be a Schwurbomb.
Schwarber Fest.
He was right around the corner from me last night.
It was because he was at Yards for
Yeah.
his annual charity event.
I got to
Big
open up
doings
those
there.
PR emails.
It's a great event. You didn't. It's literally like right around the corner from you. You didn't
I know.
go?
No, I did
Great
not.
event. All the guys were there.
I saw the pictures. Johan Rojas going wine at the brewery.
I saw it. Castellanos, I think, also did.
Quite the choice.
It's probably an open bar, whatever.
Listen, if you're at Yards, they got good beer. I would be going
Literally
with,
the name of the point of it.
At a brewery? Wine? It's like going beer at a winery. Why would you do that?
Listen, to each their own. He's there supporting his teammates.
Yeah, no, it was very nice.
A lot of Amy love coming on the chat
Oh,
board.
thank
So
you.
far.
That's
Yeah,
nice. I need to log in.
Fadul is cool.
Well, it does rhyme, and it is fun to say.
All right, so Amy during the break got.
You did give me one
I
hint.
gave you a hint.
You gave me a hint that it was a
but
movie.
The first person, Brock Page Productions, got on the chat with all the right moves. That if you remember, one of the classic underrated sports movies of all time, one of Tom Cruise's early movies with Craig T. Nelson as the evil coach, the evil high school coach.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's the first like underdog-ish of like trying to pull myself up by my bootstraps, rise above my upbringing in my small steel town.
Yeah, it's classic.
It's a classic 80s flick.
Stefan Georgievich.
Yeah, there's a
was
montage in
his
there.
name.
It's great stuff.
They even went with the ethnic, the Western Pennsylvania.
Of course.
Ethnic.
Yeah, the guy had pierogies probably.
Yeah, exactly.
You definitely had him.
All right, so we're talking Phil's baseball here. They take 2 and 3 from the Cubs and Luzardo. Man, people breathed a sigh of relief when they saw him pitch yesterday.
Thank God.
It wasn't as simple as he was tipping the pitchers.
Well, Ben Davis actually did a good bit with it on post game. He didn't go with his slider as much as he had the previous two,
Never
which I
pounded
think,
the slider.
which really helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a side by side when we were looking at it of where his glove placement was with the ball, and then where it was yesterday, and it had been the previous 2 starts, and he's definitely hiding the ball more. And
Yeah.
it could be as simple as a combination of both, right? Not using the slider as much because that was not fooling anybody, going with your fastball, 4-seam and otherwise, and then just also, just don't give him any extra. Listen, baseball players will do anything they can. There's guys watching at first base trying to do stuff, second base from the out. They'll watch anything they can do just to get an edge. And that's what I think that they try to do. I think it's probably a combination of.
Speaking of that, at about 11 o'clock, we're going to have sports psychologist Mitchell Green on. If you read the Inquirer today, there's a story where he is quoted about how he deals with hitters who get insecure about their ability to hit and what they face when they step in the batter's box. I've always said, like yesterday we were talking about it a little bit, a hitting coach to me is mostly irrelevant. A hitting coach can work on mechanics, can look over videos. You don't have your leg kicked down enough, whatever, little things. But the bottom line is it's survival. Once you get out of that batter's box, you got it. It is. It's the most individualistic sport that there is, and you got to beat the pitcher, and he's trying to beat you. And so, however you do it, now you have to have to have your head clear. So we're going to have sports psychologist Mitchell Green explain how you can get your head clear. Set the mechanism.
Oh, clear the mechanism.
Clear the mechanism. That's right.
There's another sports movie
clear
for you.
clear the mechanism. What was that?
That was Costner's been the same guy in every single movie he's ever done.
Was that Bull Durham?
No, he was the Tigers pitcher.
Oh,
Love of the
that's
Game, right?
Yeah, it's the Love of the Game with Kelly Preston.
It's the same guy. He's the same guy in every movie. He's Dancing with Wolves. He's pitching. It doesn't matter. Same guy.
I will say this about Kevin Costner, though.
Great character actor.
He pulls it off. He pulls the athletic feet off.
It works.
He can pitch.
He's the football coach.
And he looks like he's got a good swing.
Yeah, he's a good baseball player, I think, I feel like, for that.
Yeah, I think he's played some ball in his past.
Yeah.
You can see guys like the Major League, what was the
Charlie Sheen?
No, the other. Charlie Sheen can throw Tom Berenger.
Yeah, thank you.
Tom Berenger as the catcher. You see the way he threw?
It looked like a catcher that was on his last
wheel. Oh, my
wheel.
God. You see the way he squared around the bunt? He has no idea.
Yeah, that was actually pretty
Come on, man. You got to work with
Still
a guy.
a great movie, though. Still a great movie.
Yeah, I liked it, too. All right, 610-632-0975. We're going to go to the phones right out of the chute because Greg and Bethlehem, our normal leadoff hitters, checking in today. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Well, I would say good morning, gentlemen, but that wouldn't include Amy.
That is correct.
I guess I say good morning, guys.
Would that work for you, Abe? That's good
Sure,
morning, guys.
absolutely. It's an all-encompassing.
Okay.
Yeah, very good, very good. Hey, I don't think I've seen Bohm hit a left field dinger since the home run derby. Honestly,
he had a pretty good swing to that side, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had a pretty good swing to that side. Now, you still can get your hands inside the ball and pull it. And he did it on that swing.
Okay, I mean, it seemed to me that maybe it was a reflection of just a slight delay in recognizing the pitch, so that forces him to let the ball get deep, and it goes to the opposite field. But, be that as it may, it just was a nice thing to see. Mercado looked pretty good in limited action.
Mercado?
Michael Mercado?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I mean,
he had a scoreless hit. Didn't he have a scoreless inning?
Yeah, he did, Greg. Yeah, but I'm not sure you could, project that to him.
No. Look, there's times when you're grasping.
Well, you're
grasping.
we
grasping.
don't need to grasp,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, you're grasping.
It's June 12th.
You're grasping.
It's joyful.
Yeah.
Do you think the results that Luzardo had is some sort of confirmation that he was tipping, or you think it was coincidental?
I don't know. The tipping thing, you still got to make great pitch. If a hitter knows what's coming, that's a big advantage. I get it, but you still if you make a good enough pitch, you can still get a guy out.
Mm-hmm. Even if he knows it's coming.
Yeah, he wasn't making good enough pitches, and he stayed away from the one pitch that they were hammering, which was a good strategy. Now the pitching coach, I'll give him credit if that's what they determined. Don't throw that pitch.
Right.
Now it takes a weapon away from him, but if you can perfect the other pitches, he looked good yesterday. I have no complaints.
I got a related question, I guess, in pitching. Why wouldn't a young pitcher develop a splitter?
Hard to throw. It's really hard to throw.
Is that what it?
Yeah, it takes a lot to master that pitch. It's a great pitch for those who can master it. You have to have really long fingers, first of all. Maybe pitchers that don't feel that comfortable with the grip of that pitch because it's a tough pitch to control.
Yeah, I was going to say, a good splitter is unhittable.
Yeah, think about it, though. Split your fingers on seams, right? You don't have that much of a grip that you have on other pitches, and you're trying to get that release point down to the point where the spin is perfect enough to drop down. It's tough.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch to master.
Is that something that a pitching coach would work on? Or
you'd have to work on it a really long time. I think guys trust their other stuff better. They're not as comfortable throwing that pitch, so they stay away from it. But Wheeler picked one up. He throws an occasional split. I think if you have long fingers and you work on it hard enough, you could throw it. But one thing working on the side and in the bullpen, it's another thing when you're in the cauldron of a major league game. Like you don't want to get behind a guy throwing that pitch. You don't throw wild pitches. It's tough. It's tough pitch to throw with runners on base.
Yeah, I guess you got to pick your spots. But it just occurred to me the other day. I can't remember the last splitter that somebody hit. And yet, you don't see it that often.
Greg, I loved when you throw in that little laugh.
Hey.
That little laugh. You go, you got that
Occurred to me the other day.
You got that.
Like it actually did occur to him.
Yeah, we
a little light bulb went off.
We get a kick when you throw that little laugh in. Ray Dunn just cracked up.
The two of us always
a little laugh.
give each other a look of, Greg cracked himself up.
He's got the hop in there.
Also, the beginning of his call, does he think his good morning gentlemen is like the hello friends of this show?
It is.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
It's like, good morning, gentlemen. I guess
Morning,
I can't say
gentlemen.
that.
He's
Does he
always
start
allowed
every
to say
call that way?
He must. He can still say it.
Yeah. By the way, 90% of 80s movies are better than 90% of today's movies, according to one of our.
I mean, the formula, it's a little formulaic in the 80s, but the formula was awesome because it was like conflict, montage, resolution.
Yeah.
No one does a montage anymore. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, we just remake the same movie without the
Yeah,
montage.
without the montage. Less cool music.
Mike Missanelli show back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies take 2 and 3. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. May need a new water heater. Choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 and 3 from the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber, Alec Boehm homered in the win, and Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 bad starts. Luzardo went 6 innings, struck out 10 batters, allowed just 1 run in the win, and the Phillies now with a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Ranger Suarez and Kevin Gausman on the mound on Friday night, 6:45 at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles still 6 weeks away from training camp as they put mandatory minicamp in the rear view, and the conversation around them a lot to do with what that roster battles will look like in training camp, specifically on that defense. Cornerback could get some reinforcements by the way of a free agent if they decide to try and go after Jair Alexander following his release from the Packers. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about that possibility.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a 1-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll see if he's keeping his eye on the Birds and looking towards the NBA. The Pacers with a win last night to take a 2-1 series lead in the NBA Finals. This update's brought to you by Extreme Experience. Give Dad the ultimate driving experience in a Ferrari or Porsche or on a real racetrack. Extreme Experience hits New Jersey Motorsports Park August 14th through 17th. Save 25% for Father's Day. ExtremeExperience.com. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
31. I'm looking at the chat. I'm now obsessed with the chat. I know what Lord Bill into looking at this chat here.
You could get lost in that chat.
Yeah, like so this guy this guy JM says Mike's taste in movies is abysmal. All right, now first of all, I would not put All the Right Moves in one of the great movies of all time.
It's still a good movie.
You little lunatic. What I'm saying is it was a charming little sports movie. You know, it's not in my top 5. Like I have classics in my top 5 movies. My taste in movies is abysmal because you like All the Right Moves. Amy, you love All the Right Moves, don't you?
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, solid. It has all the elements.
Yeah,
it's a small town,
exactly.
underdog mentality, gets into a beef with the coach. The coach gets out of
Coach was
line.
wrong.
The coach has to learn about morality. You know?
It's a quintessential sports movie.
It is.
Nothing wrong
How's
with
that
it.
my taste in movies
It's a
abysmal?
good movie.
Ray, have
It's
you seen All the Right Moves?
No, and I got a text to the text line saying, Ray, don't waste your time.
Oh, come on, man.
Not bad. It's a good movie. And yes, it's a little formulaic now. When you were like, I don't know, I saw that thing like 20 years ago, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. It's better than like Varsity Blues.
Here we go. Oh, boy, here we go. All the Right Moves, crap movie. That's
Oh,
why
wow.
it's not rated. Hey, Ray, don't waste your time watching that one. Dave.
Come on, man. It had Leon in it. You know, Leon was in Above the Rim. You see Above the Rim?
Yes.
All right, Leon was the guy. That
I gotta look this up. I
Leon
don't
was
know.
the guy who saved the day. He came in. He was the.
Oh, yeah,
he was
yeah,
Tommy.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
Tommy Shepard.
Yeah. Okay.
And he made all those jump shots in that game against Tupac's squad.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, Leon was in it.
Sometimes they're just movies you just put on. You're like, all right, I'm locked in.
Yeah, Christopher Penn was in it also.
Yes.
Chris Penn was
Penn.
the linebacker.
That's right.
Was going to
He
USC.
was in a lot of those movies
and he,
like
he
that.
knocked up his girlfriend.
And so he couldn't go.
He squandered his whole scholarship.
It's
Look at all these
the
little
small
elements.
town story.
Exactly. Small
It's like
town.
Footloose, but with football.
Correct.
Football loose.
It's classic.
There is a fumble at the end. It's very important.
There was a fumble at
It was
the
a very
end.
important fumble.
Who fumbled at the end? What was his name?
No, I don't know. Was it a?
No, you pick on the Italian. The Italian fullback was in
Yeah,
fumble.
well, there you go.
Salvucci.
It might have been Missanelli.
Salvucci.
I'll
You
double
cost
check it.
us the game, Salvucci.
Well, listen, if he had been from the Eastern Bloc, he probably would have been better with those pierogi.
I found out from our YouTube chat, Pirogue is this singular version of that.
Pirogue?
No,
Yes. Pierogi is
No.
apparently the plural. That's what they're saying.
no, really?
That's what I found
Wait,
out
is this
on the
like
YouTube
when
chat
Italians
today.
say like mozzarella instead of mozzarella?
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
what's that? We take
Prosciutto instead of prosciutto?
Yeah, we take off the.
I know. I didn't realize that until I lived in South Philly, and I was like, oh.
We take
I'm
off-
sorry, isn't there a
we-
vowel at the end? Like, no. I'm like, are you sure?
We shorten everything.
It is.
We shorten everything. We take a vowel off. It's weird.
I'm not kidding. Online, Rogue is the singular version.
Really.
All right. Well, now
Pirogue.
you learn something every day.
Wait. Pierogi is plural?
Apparently.
Because why would you just want to have one? You need more than one.
Right,
so
so-
we just naturally assume it's pierogi. So it's not pierogies, obviously.
Pierogi is
Is
the plural.
incorrect. No,
According to the internet
but there's
and
no
someone
S.
on the YouTube. I think
But there's-
Provolone John on
But
the
there's
YouTube
no
chat.
S on
Wow.
the end of pierogi for the plural.
What
But
a fascinating sports show we have today.
we haven't
Pierogi and
we
all
haven't
the right
talked about the
moves.
U.S. Open. We haven't talked about TJ McConnell. Like, come on.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No.
Let's have this conversation, Amy. Good job. I'm going to shut up now.
Am I going to take TJ McConnell? I've already took it on my Twitter.
There's a good stat, though, for TJ McConnell.
What's the stat?
He's the first player since 73-74 to have 10 points or more, 5 or more assists, 5 or more steals off the bench in a finals.
Here's another stat. TJ McConnell is the only white player who can never make a jump shot.
I've seen him make a jump shot.
From 8 feet?
That's a jump shot.
I don't,
Listen,
I don't consider that
he
a
helped
jump
his
shot.
team get a 2-1 lead in a pivotal game 3.
Listen.
Pivotal.
The people that ripped me for TJ McConnell, I never said that he sucked. I said he is a guy who's a scrappy little guy with not a lot of talent. And we, like, the fact that we lament the fact that we let him out of town is a little bit much.
I think the only lamentation for letting him out of town is the fact that a couple of years ago, there was definitely the mentality here among the team, verbalized by the team, that there was no guys that were out there doing the gritty work, the hard-nosed stuff.
He does
and you
that.
thought, well, you had a guy.
He does
So
that.
that's where I think some of the It's like, oh, we could have had that guy. You could have still had him. I don't know that TJ McConnell would have been able to be that guy on this team, so I always kind of go back to that. Because when they were talking about, we need a dog, we need a guy that's going to be straight. Yeah, you had one, but I don't know that he was going to be that guy. I don't know if they were going to let him be that guy on this team. I mean, because at that point it was Doc Rivers as the coach, and I don't see him. Doc Rivers didn't even play Tyrese Maxey, so you're telling me he's going to play TJ McConnell?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for TJ.
Really. He's had an amazing career. He really has. The fact that he's lasted in this league that many years, he's made about $100 million, hasn't he?
It's incredible. Good for him.
Yeah,
He's a guy that people didn't think could even make
the
it.
fact that he made $100 million is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in professional sports. But congratulations. What do you have, 5 and 5 and 5?
10, 5 and 5.
10, 5 and 5 off the bench.
10, 5 and 5. 10, 5 assists, 5 steals?
Yes.
10 points?
Pivotal steals.
And was any
steals.
did he make a three-pointer?
Doesn't have to.
Don't need him to.
No, he didn't make one.
5 steals led to what? 2 of them led to a three-pointer.
That turnaround jumper is a beautiful thing.
When he tries to shoot a three-pointer, it's like he's hoisting a medicine ball.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough watch, but he gets the job done.
Know your role.
Yes.
610
know your personnel.
632-0975 back after this.
Ricky Bo.
7-2, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we're going to talk to sports psychologist Mitchell Green about the psychology of baseball slumps and why guys don't hit and why they continue not to hit when they get into one of these funks. Should be interesting.
I think so. But it's the most mental of all the sports.
It is the sport that can turn you into a basket case more than any other sport.
Because it's like an individual sport with team results.
It is. It's like,
you know?
In a way, maybe you can compare it to tennis.
Yeah.
But tennis, yeah, because
it's a greater, like the whole set and match type of vibe and innings.
Yeah.
Kind of following along that.
It's probably easier to return a 130-mile-an-hour serve than it is to hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
I mean, at least you can get a racket on that. I don't know if it'll go anywhere. I'm not getting anything on a
All right. You're getting a lot of love on the chat.
Oh, well, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Amy,
everyone.
who you got to win the U.S. Open?
Oh, it's going to be hard to go against Scheffler now.
You going Sheffy?
I mean, honestly, we talked to somebody yesterday who's been a caddy and is like a 10 handicap, and he says he would shoot right now with the conditions 115 at Oakmont.
Yeah, it's a crazy
hard. The fact that I don't like that. I get that you want to make it hard, but come on. Like, no one wants to see a guy out there shooting 6 over and be like, yeah, I'm the U.S. Open champ.
Yeah,
Just
true.
Stop
You
it.
can't be over par to win the
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If it's like 1, but I don't know. But it's going to be hard to go against Scheffler.
Here's another question. Amy, are you following the Karen Reed trial?
No. I do enjoy the whole murder mystery type of vibes. I love Dateline and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But no, I've not. I mean, I follow it on like TikTok, but that's about it. I don't think that's not a really reliable news source.
Have you followed my true crime podcast?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like true crime, murder mysteries, all that stuff. I've so much so that people around me are worried that I'm like doing like research.
You know, I follow too. Have you seen this thing about this Sherry Rapini?
Yes.
Have you followed that?
I have followed that, yeah. The Karen Reed thing, I feel like is kind of like all, I don't know, I feel like it's like a wash.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm not as locked in.
I haven't seen that Karen Reed thing either. So, all right, what do we have on the text board so far?
People coming to the defense of all the right moves.
We
got
See?
Emmy from Port Richmond saying, see it, Ray, good flick. Joe from West Philly saying childhood film of mine. We also got one person critiquing your critique of TJ McConnell.
Okay, go ahead.
Vince in Longcrest saying, Mike is jealous that TJ became the player he thinks he could have been. Mike once said you could find a TJ in any YMCA on any night.
You can. Mike could shoot it better. Mike could fire. You see, here's the thing about white dudes. Because when you grow up playing, and you play in really high competitive pickup games, and you're playing against brothers, you're not taking the ball to the basket on them. So what do?
Shoot the
You
three.
perfect the jump shot, right? You pump fake, you get to a spot, you fire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what TJ was absent, apparently, for those lessons. I don't get it.
True. But I mean, like, I don't know. There's other
That's what he made it in the
Caucasians
NBA.
out there that don't shoot the three.
Yeah, I get it, but
I think the admiration for a lot of people for TJ McConnell is the fact that they know that he can't shoot, and he still kind of rose above, if you want to use that expression.
it's
you know what I mean?
amazing.
He still found a way and said, all right, well, I'm not very good at this, and I'm going to make everything else. Like, as opposed to Ben Simmons, who couldn't shoot his way out of a paper bag and just said, like, nah, I'm good.
I get it, but I just don't understand how you can go to the playground.
I think you could shoot a little bit before, but not at this level.
It's the turnaround jumper. That's what it is for him. He gets into the paint, and instead of being the guy that takes it to the hoop and gets blocked,
we've seen it.
he just gives himself enough
that was a
space
game
to
winner.
get that jumper
It was a game winner
up.
for the Sixers.
He's got the little 8-footer.
Quintessential. And just
8-footmans.
To defend Mike on one thing, Mike said he made $100 million. He has gotten awfully close. He's at 91 point.
91.
Whatever, he's almost at $92 million, so he's awfully close to $100 million.
He will get some endorsement off of this finals run.
I'm sure he has.
He'll clear $100 million.
Yeah. So
I was worried
he's right
for him.
there. He's right there. He's like $8 million away.
Ray, you'll love this. Did you see this comment on the chat? So we traded Bill Shrek for Amy.
Wait, what is that?
That's not
Am
right.
I Shrek?
No,
Bill
we're calling
is.
Bill Shrek.
Why is he Shrek?
I think it's James Kelly is the one that always goes to that calls Bill that.
Bill. Bill has this reputation of being a cement head, but he's really not. He's very cerebral cement head. If
you want to say that.
He's the most cerebral cement head I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ray's like, I'm not getting involved
sure.
in this.
If you want to believe that he's cerebral, I'll let you believe that. Yesterday, off the air, those two at 2, I was talking to them, and I forget. Well, it was the thing we tried to set him up with the Trey Hendrickson thing. Mm-hmm. And Ricky's like, we get last laugh. I'm like, yeah, until the next day we come on at 10 o'clock. Like,
exactly.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
We have hours.
I'll fire shots at you every single day for hours if I need to.
All right. One of my things about the Eagles is that I fear that a lot of guys come back from a Super Bowl hangover and they don't have the same verve. I hope that doesn't happen to this team, and maybe it won't happen. But I was looking at this story which ranks the offenses. How do you rank the Eagles' offense in the NFL, Amy? Do you think they're one of the better offenses?
I do. Yes. I would say they're a top 5 offense.
They're ranked outside the top 5 in this story. Well, they're ranked 6th, but wait, is it 6 or 7?
7.
Well,
It's
but
7?
who's above them?
Detroit Lions, Buffalo. Oh, this is ranked. This is ranked by points. What the story that ranks them 7th is a projection for this year?
Best teams, best offenses in the NFL looking towards 2025.
Okay,
Based on points that they think they're going to score?
Yeah,
based on what he projects, I guess, them to score, just, the old-fashioned, this is what my eyes tell me about this offense.
Well, that's good. All that is a knock on Jalen Hurts, because there's no way you look at the receiving core and the running back and think that's not a top 5. I mean, come on. You've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, even Dallas Goedert in there, and obviously Saquon Barkley. So that's obviously an indictment on what people view as far as Jalen Hurts, and that's just going back to the beginning of last season.
It is amazing that there's still this doubt.
The last 2 games, he was incredible.
Go, okay, this could be too low for the reigning Super Bowl champs. This is the explanation of why they ranked him 7th. Who featured the best offensive line in football, 2,000-yard rusher, one of the top receiving duos in the game today. But I'm still not entirely sure what to think of Jalen Hurts.
There you go. I didn't even need to read the article. I knew it. I knew
not
it.
that he's bad, obviously. The guy just won Super Bowl MVP, for God's sakes, and probably deserves the same honor in the Super Bowl that Philadelphia lost 3 Februarys ago. Hurts is certifiably good, but how good is he?
I mean, come on.
Last season, including the playoffs, he eclipsed 300 yards passing in only 1 game. And while he provides undeniable value as a runner, particularly with his forward thrust on the tush-push, Hurts doesn't really take over games with his legs.
I don't need him to. They have Saquon Barkley, a 2,000-yard rusher.
All right.
And also, if we remember, when he was throwing the ball a lot, it was too much. They dialed it back.
Yep.
He had a 110 passer rating in the NFC title game, which they blew out the Commanders, and in the Super Bowl, which they blew out the Chiefs.
All right, so here's the way the offenses go.
Be done with that. That's hilarious.
The offenses go
ranked in Bills, Lions
as well. It ranks Bills 1.
Yeah, I think
Buccaneers 2.
Stop it. Stop.
Yeah, Bucks 2. Ravens 3.
Stop it. They must be enthralled with the running quarterback then.
Commanders 4.
Stop it.
And Lions 5.
Who wrote this?
Denver Broncos 6.
The Broncos.
Broncos.
The Bo Nix.
And the Eagles 7.
Below
That's
the Broncos. That's disrespectful.
Totally disrespectful. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. We're going to get a sports psychologist on board at 11 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. Why did the Phillies slump? How did they get out of it? Well, we'll try to dip into that psychologically after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies take 2 at 3. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs a Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 of 3 from the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber and Alec Boehm homered to the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 brutal starts. Luzardo went 6 innings, struck out 10 batters, allowed just 1 run in the win. The Phillies now have a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Ranger Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound on Friday night at 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles are still 6 weeks out from training camp. The conversation around this team has a lot to do with some of those defensive position battles. Quarterback could get reinforcements by way of a free agent if the Eagles were to go after Jair Alexander, who was released by the Packers. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, talked about Alexander's thought process this offseason.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a 1-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll keep our eyes on whatever happens with Alexander. The Pacers beat the Thunder last night in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, so Indiana has a 2-1 lead in the series. This update also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE sedan. Hurry it now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA Finals action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
.56, Mike Missanelli show. Amy Thrull sitting in today, and some Sixer news here. We know the Sixers had VJ Edge come in, and they brought in Maxey with that little session. There is a report going around from a senior NBA insider from USA Today, Hope's Hype podcast, named Mike Scott. He says the Sixers,
not the Hive, Mike Scott, right?
No, not the Hive.
I would say no.
Not the guy who walks around the Eagles tailgate. Whatever happened to him? Where is he?
He's a big Commanders fan, right?
Is he?
Yeah, that's why he was walking around the casino.
That's
Yeah, he's
right.
from
He
Virginia.
Commanders fan.
Yeah.
Where is he now? What do you think Mike Scott's
I
doing?
bet he's playing somewhere overseas.
You think he's overseas?
Yeah.
He probably
I'll
is.
have to look that up. Go ahead. Sorry,
Anyway, the report is the Sixers are interested and engaging with the Spurs right now. Interested in moving up to the number 2 slot, where they would obviously be interested in Dylan Harper,
Yes.
who, to me, is really the one of 2 players who can make an immediate impact in the league. How do you feel about that?
I'm not sold on Dylan Harper.
You're not?
No.
Really?
I know. Sorry.
So you like Edgecombe better?
I like Trey Johnson better.
You like Trey Johnson
Yeah,
better?
I like Trey Johnson.
The
I
kid
like
from
Trey-
Texas.
Texas kid. I like his shooting. I like his size. I like the idea of having a larger guard to go pair with Tyrese Maxey.
And you don't like the fact that Dylan Harper's 6'5", 6'6"?
I enjoy that.
Yeah?
I think he's a dog. I think that he plays well. I don't think he shoots as well as I'd like him to be. And I still am having and I've looked at, I watched whole games and I've watched just highlight clips. And I'm just having a lot of still issues with the fact that when the games were in hand for the other team, he just stopped playing. I have a problem with that.
That's fair. I think he's a game
I don't know that
controller.
that's-
I think
he is.
he's a guard who can
very
control the
young.
game without a lot of fanfare, just solid control, can make enough shots, can get people involved, can get the ball to the basket. I like his game a lot.
Yeah, I think he's exceptionally athletic. I like that he can take over a game. I think that for me, there was just a question of, because Rutgers was bad this year. There's no way they were terrible. And they have 2 top 5 picks, and they didn't even make the tournament, but they didn't even win 20 games. I had an issue with in the games where he could have kind of turned it back on.
Yeah.
He just kind of wilted. But that could be his youth, the situation. I understand all of those things, but I worry about how that's going to translate with the Sixers, because they will face adversity with this team.
Let me ask you a question, though. Would it be better for them to get Dylan Harper at 2 than it would be for them to take a shot on anybody else? Now, you like the kid from Texas better than Harper, so your answer would probably be no.
Well, how I figure it is they go after, they re-sign Quentin Grimes. He is your starter with Tyrese Maxey, and you're drafting a guy to come off the bench and play 20 to 25 minutes and hopefully get you 14 points. That's in my mind. That's the scenario that I am choosing. So in that case, I am good with Trey Johnson. Your case, I see if you're taking a guy like Dylan Harper, you're thinking, I pause every time and not call him Ron. Dylan Harper, you're thinking he has a chance to play starter minutes, and he's going to be a guy that you're going to he's going to fight to stay on the court. And I could see that. I could see that. I don't know. I would love to see what the Spurs are going to ask to move that up, because the Sixers could make a deal. They could come off some of the contracts that aren't as team friendly, and maybe get another player or another pick back in there.
All right, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, because maybe they trade down. They trade back.
With Pelicans.
And maybe they like the kid, the center from Duke, who I think could be a star in the league in the future.
In the future, yes.
I think he's Mitchell Robinson with talent.
They could actually shoot.
Yeah, who can score and do all kinds of other stuff.
I can see that.
All right, it's 11 o'clock. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. And we broadcast every day from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, so the Phillies occasionally go in the slumps. It's maddening to a lot of Philly fans why they can't snap out of slumps. It seems like they can all get hot at once, but mostly they all get cold at once, and their offense bogs down. There is a psychology to hitting, which is why we have our next guest here. I was reading a story in the Inquirer today where he's quoted extensively. He is sports psychologist Mitchell Green. And by the way, full disclosure, one of the counselors that I've seen, of the many I've seen in my life, and he joins us right now. Mitchell Green. Mitch, how you doing?
You there?
Yeah, there he is. Mitch.
Okay.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Mike.
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I was very interested in the story today in the Inquirer where you're giving an analysis of baseball players and how they go into slumps and what the mindset is when they get up to the plate. I got to think of all the athletes you have counseled. Baseball players have to have they're most likely to be the biggest basket case. Is that right?
They're probably tied with my golfers, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
And hitting a little ball, with a stick is tricky, whether the ball is moving or not. So, and the thing about both those sports with baseball and golf, if we make that comparison, let's at least stick with baseball for a second. The Phillies are kind of want to step up, right? Naturally, you want to step up when some guys are down, when your best player's down, when some pitchers are down. But in a sport like baseball, right, where it gets so mental is stepping up often for these athletes has them speeding up. All of a sudden they're moving too fast. If you're a football player, a basketball player, and you want to step up, usually that means you're going to go faster, be more aggressive, get into the action more. But these guys, it's such a fine, there's everything has to be just right at the plate. And if they start to press and speed up at the plate, which is a natural thing to do under the pressure of a circumstance when you have guys down and you're slumping, it works against you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. You compared it to golf, which I think is fascinating. In golf, you have a longer time to process all these little thoughts that you're trying. Like you go to the range, I got to do this, and you process it all. And it's baseball is obviously way sped up. Where you have all these collective thoughts, and you have to process them in a shorter period of time. What's harder? When you have the time to process it, or when you have little time to process it?
Well, I think sometimes having too much time to process is harder. But what's happening with a lot of baseball players, and I presume is happening to some degree with the Phillies, is that time, before they ever get into the hole or that on-deck circle, their mind may already be overthinking. They are, it's different than golf, but they do have a lot of time in baseball to be thinking and waiting. And, I also talk to a lot of these players about how they're, when they go home at night, there's some of these guys who are in slumps that aren't just sort of trying to recover and take time off. They have a bat in their hands, or they're asking the trainer to, open up, the batting cages early so they can get in there. In other words, they're constantly in this mode of overthinking and trying to fix things, change their grip, change their stance at the plate. You could relate with golfers as well, always looking for the fix. Instead of having like a trusting mindset, they don't trust. They think there's something wrong, and the more they change things and the more those things don't give them quick results, the more they kind of get into this negative spiral.
All right, take me through the process now. A guy gets in a batter's box. From a sports psychologist standpoint, what should he be thinking or not thinking?
Right. Well, all the thinking, so to speak, should be done before they get into the box. Some of the quote-unquote thinking they need to be doing is in the on-deck circle, in the hole, and by the time they get to the plate, often these players, especially when you're coming out of a slump or trying to, you just want a couple of anchors or cues to focus on. And those cues can't be focused on outcome and results. That's where a player self-sabotages. Of course, when you're at the plate, you want to get on base, you want to drive a run in. That's sort of plainly obvious. But of course, you cannot directly control whether you get a hit or not. So where you want your player to be focused at the plate is just gently on a couple of what I call action goals. It may have something to do with where their elbow is, or how they want to move through the strike zone, or whether they want to keep their left hip in or not, or it could be something as basic as just watching the ball. In other words, when things get complicated for a player, that's when the slump perpetuates. If they could simplify things by just having a few cues, and part of that could be taking a breath between each at-bat, or between each pitch, kind of follow and stick to a gentle, easy routine. That's where we want them. We don't want them thinking too much, because thinking makes their body, too much thinking gets their bodies to stop doing. So the other piece of this, I think, is a lot of guys, I'm just thinking of a recent player that I worked with, they can start to isolate themselves. They isolate themselves in the dugout. They get quieter in the dugout. You get a bunch of guys in a dugout situation when teams are slumping, and everybody sort of starts, not everybody, but a lot of guys start to pull away from the team. All of a sudden, this sort of slump can become contagious. This negative mindset can become contagious. So the other thing we're talking to these athletes about is, about the in-between at-bats. What are they like in the dugout? What are they like in the locker room? How much are they getting away from who they really are? How much are they losing faith in who they really are and what they're capable of? How much are they changing their habits and their behaviors? Because all of that contributes to what happens by the time they get up to the plate.
We're talking to sports psychologist Mitchell Grant. All right, Mitch. So you're saying disconnect sort of when you get in the batter's box. Instead of saying I got to get a hit in this at bat, you focus completely on something completely opposite of that, which is my elbow in the proper shape. If my elbow's in the proper position, I got more of a chance to get a hit.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an example.
Yeah.
They might tell themselves to slow down. They might just say, see it, crush it. Some guys are just a couple of key words to focus them in. But yes, the point is you want to focus on aspects of the hit, aspects of the at-bat that are under your control. Getting a hit isn't.
All right. I don't know if you followed Phillies that closely, but they have a player who looks like a basket case every time he doesn't get a hit. And he strikes out and he'll slam a helmet. I'm talking about Alec Bohm, who also does that isolation piece that you're talking about in a dugout. How would you counsel him?
Well, in terms of the isolation piece, I'd have to let him know, a guy like him, I'm imagining, that this isn't just hurting him, but it could be impacting his teammates. And that is someone who's now been on the Phils for a while, and I imagine would like to think of himself as one of the leaders of this team, that we're going to kind of ask him to kind of get out of his comfort zone, which is to kind of just retreat and go into his head and come up with some small ways that he could be up on the railing with the other guys, cheering his teammates on and giving them some good positive energy. So I would be challenging him. And, these players are the most competitive in the world. When you put a challenge to some of these guys about how to win the game, not just when they're at the at-bat, but how to win the entire game of baseball in terms of their attitude and how they lead as players and as men, sometimes just challenging them right up front will get guys like that to respond. Because they know in the back of their heads that they're impacting the team, and they sometimes just need somebody to help encourage them to say, you might not be stepping up to the plate, but you could make a difference with this team if you sort of step up with your teammates.
Mitch, if I can ask you a question real quick. It's interesting because you see in the dugout, you're talking about the isolation, and in Mike's example there with Alec Bohm, we've seen where he's had the frustration. Some of his teammates come over and they try to talk to him about it. How much, when you're dealing with athletes, do you also want to try to talk to the whole team, because it really is a collective effort at times?
Yeah. I mean, me as a sports psychologist, talking to a team is sort of a great opportunity for somebody who's sort of outside the immediate system to talk to the team and say how, where are the pain points? Where do you think you guys kind of are struggling? And then also, but making sure they also can identify with what makes this team great. What makes this team strong? What are the values that this team is trying to live up to? And sometimes, you mentioned Bohm, and sometimes one of the values that I see that I play, and this might be true of any sports psychologist, when guys like a Bohm or someone comes into your office, they're hearing it from somebody who isn't their teammate, isn't their coach, isn't their friend, someone where they can really be open and be vulnerable. So if I'm talking individually to a player or we're meeting with a team, we're really encouraging how vulnerable can these guys be, because they get to see that they're all in this together, and you're as strong as your sort of weakest link. And if some of the guys start sharing and talking about what they're struggling with, or you get to hear some of your star players are also struggling with that. I mean, just to cut to the chase, I mean, sometimes when you have a star player like a Bohm speaking up about his struggles, some of those young guys or some of those guys who are maybe new to the team, people like Bohm don't appreciate how valuable hearing that can be for them. They begin to feel more normal. They begin to feel like they're not the only one who's had those thoughts. They begin to realize, this is just part of the game. This is part of the competitive picture is dealing with slumps. So, a long-winded answer to your question is it can be incredibly valuable to bring teammates together for that reason alone.
This has been very enlightening, Mitch. One last thing, I always say the hitting coach is kind of overvalued. The hitting coach can technically straighten you out and with video, but when you get in that batter's box, it's you against the pitcher, and it's more mental than anything. And like the example is, if you get a hit your first time at bat, you play the rest of the game kind of on a cloud. Like you feel a lot better about yourself, and that next at bat, you're mentally more prepared. Would that be accurate?
Yes. Well, you certainly have a little bit more confidence, but learning to be these big leaguers know that it takes more than confidence to be a stud at the plate. Confidence, Mike, and sometimes it's overrated. In other words, sometimes these guys think they need to be confident to play well. And, of course, when you're 0 for 3, nobody's really confident that, this is good. They're going to turn things around right now. One of the things we teach these athletes, and a lot of these major leaguers, of course, know this and they've heard it, which is how to be focused and how to be courageous in the moment, even if your confidence isn't going well, even if you aren't getting a hit in your first at bat. Sorry to jump in on there, Mike, but I wanted to stick that in there.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah. Mitch, I think in your experience, are most of these guys doing as much mental work as they should?
No. In my experience, the guys who need it the most probably are doing the least.
Yeah. That's
just a general statement. Yeah. But that's not, I don't want to suggest that there aren't plenty of guys who are now beginning to kind of be more aware of the mental game and more. I mean, they already know it's important, but we could probably use more guys who are willing to kind of work privately with people. And again, there's still a stigma around it that it's somehow a sign that there's something wrong, which of course we try to disabuse people of. And instead of, we want them to see it as a performance enhancer, at the plate, a performance enhancer in their lives in total. But no, there's still too many guys who are sort of saying, I'll just take 1,000 more swings and try to pull out of it that way.
I hear you. Mitch, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for coming on.
Mike, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care. There he goes, Mitchell Green. He's a sports psychologist, working with a lot of baseball players. So it's like, okay, you're in a slump. The last thing you can do is, I got to get hit this at bat. I got to salvage myself. But I want to look at my fancy. I'm not going to think about that. Right now I'm going to look at my fancy Philly Fanatic spike and notice how beautiful it is. And that will free the mind, right?
It might.
There you go. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
about
You're
that.
the one.
This is the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Here's how you get in, 610-632-0975. All right, you just heard a little bit about the psychology of being a baseball player, being a hitter. You step in there, and it's like, oh, my God, I gotta get hit. I gotta hit.
I like that he compared it to golf at first, because we've all been over the little tiny white ball being like, I have no idea where
So
this
there's
is
too
gonna
many
go.
thoughts in golf.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing.
That's why.
He almost said that baseball is easier than golf.
There's no
Well, as far as the prep goes, because you
Well,
only
yeah,
got
'cause
a
there's
little
a-
bit of time to react,
Yeah.
and you don't have the obsession of sitting there saying, "All right, I got to keep my elbow here, I got to keep my
Yeah.
backswing here."
Baseball, there is some there is some downtime. Obviously, if you're in the dugout, you're
Yeah.
thinking about your last at bat. If you're out in the field, you're thinking about whatever. If you made the play out there, golf is infuriating, but I love it.
You've been playing a lot of golf.
I've not been
Really?
playing a lot. I
Really?
have been playing some. I'm playing next Friday. That's the next one on the docket. Supposed to play today, but
You're not gonna play today.
no, I'm going to go to work after this. I'm going to do my other job.
Well, explain about the Amy Fadul schedule here. 'Cause
So,
this is like
today-
unreal. Did you do mornings?
I did mornings on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And then to this week, I've been hosting several Birds Huddle shows, and we are
Okay.
live at 6:00 today. So I'll go straight in there.
And
then, but that's where I don't have time to sneak in from 2 to 6.
How do you manage all this and also raise a family?
I mean, you just do it. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I just do it.
Like
Obviously,
the
we have
time restraints on it. Like you and your husband Sean, like you have to divvy that out. Like how's
Yeah.
that work?
Well, he's actually playing golf right now.
Oh, he is.
Kids
All
are
right.
Shawnee still has school until tomorrow, and Baker has a camp at his little school, so that helps out during the day. And then obviously we have caregivers and different things for as working parents. But yeah, I mean it becomes a little bit more taxing during heightened seasons. Right now it's just the Phillies, and I'm usually done earlier. But yeah, there's days the kids get it. I don't know, they get it at this point. Also, they've lost their luster. They're not as enthusiastic about where we work anymore.
I'm trying to get a how-to guide for young Ray when he becomes a big star and he's married, he's got kids, and he's got to manage that same schedule.
Yeah, it's actually easier.
Right.
The busier you are, the easier it gets to manage.
Second time this week we've jumped into the Ray kids conversation.
Well,
Is there like a
Let's look it
grand
up.
reveal happening
Listen.
Friday that I don't know about?
Maybe.
You're probably far away from that, Ray.
I hope
You're far away.
Probably
You would have to find
far
a
away.
mate first.
that would be a big part of this whole
Right,
thing.
so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Step
I don't
one.
know when that part of your life when it comes into your
Step
life,
one.
you know?
I can tell you right now there is not one. So.
Step 1,
Uh,
find somebody. Step
all
2,
Our date Ray, whatever telethon we want to do is still on the table.
okay.
Are we still going to do
That's
that?
sponsored.
Yeah,
We're still going to do that.
I guess.
Get it sponsored at
I
6.
like it. So you're up for that? Because
I'm very worried by it, but
No, I think it's a great idea. We'll have a very thorough screening process.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
did you hear Weave's call yesterday?
Yeah, we will not have a screening process at all.
Yeah, Weave was our last caller of the day yesterday. It's like we got Weave.
Finishing on that note.
Weave and Greg. We got
It's bookends. That's a bookend.
Bill Colarulo has entered our chat.
No, see, Bill, put the phone down.
Did he enter our chat? He
did.
Here he is. Here he's here. He's chatting. He's at the studio. He's right behind you, Amy.
Bill, put the phone down.
And he's into the chat.
No, he wasn't here.
Yeah.
He wasn't here yet when he was chatting. He was like on his way in.
He was on his way in.
Yeah.
Okay. Billy Bats.
Well, you got someone driving him now? What? Oh, is he in the chat while he was in the car?
How was he in the chat?
Yeah,
I don't
let's
know.
be a little careful over here on your
Did
drive-in.
he pull over the side of the
Yo, you're eating
Maybe
lunch.
it was before he
Look at
left.
him, look
Maybe
at
it was
Where are
before
you?
he left.
Honey Grove?
getting in the camera
Yeah.
as well.
No. Oh, yeah, I saw him duck down to try to get in the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, take it easy, Bill.
610.
You're on it too.
610-632-0975. He comes in. How do you come in this early? What do you do?
a workhorse.
You come in 2.5 hours early for a show.
Make sure
It's impossible.
He misses us.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it's what it is. He already came into the studio. He was texting me last night about TJ McConnell. He misses us.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I'm going to go over some text I'm getting from TJ McConnell. Unbelievable. These people won't let me alone. Right, don't you think they should leave me alone about this?
Nah.
I mean, you did set yourself up, and then the guy has that game last night.
I'm going to give you the definitive thing about TJ McConnell. All right, people want me to. You should apologize. I got to apologize, but I'll give you my statement on TJ. All right, that's after this. 610-632-0975.
Fanatic Sports Update. update.
Phillies take 2 of 3. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 of 3 from NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber, Alec Bohm both homered in the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 brutal starts. Luzardo went 6 innings, struck out 10 batters, allowed just 1 run in the win. Phillies now have a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Rangers Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound on Friday night at 6:45 at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles, still 6 weeks away from training camp, allow the conversation surrounding the team about those defensive roster battles. There's a cornerback out there potentially for the Eagles to try and get after Jair Alexander was released by the Packers. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about a little bit of Alexander's plans.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a one-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll see if he keeps his eyes on the Birds as a potential destination. Pacers beat the Thunder last night in the NBA Finals, taking a 2-1 series lead. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 B-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE sedan. Hurry it now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA Finals action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
29, Mike Missanelli Show. All right, let's get to a couple issues here. Number one, I didn't even realize that Bill Colarulo has no more access to the chat. He's on TV every day, right? So the chat is irrelevant to him. That's why he's entered our chat.
He's fiending for it.
Yes. I'm looking at the chat right now, and Dawood says that the show seems a lot happier now without Bill. And Bill jumps in and says, "What? I was making Mike angry every day." Pretty much he was, wasn't he?
Proof that he never listened to the show.
Right. Exactly, he was. I don't know. Does it sound happier, right? Are we happier?
I actually received a call from management in the last 10 minutes, and I'm going to rescind comment on any matters regarding whether or not I'm happier without Bill.
Okay. All right.
That'll be my official statement to the Inquirer, to the Business Journal, and any one of the publications that are reaching out to write about Bill.
Yeah. Bill,
Congratulations to him and his new endeavors.
I was making Mike angry every day. Yeah, Mike is less mushy.
You were mushy before?
I don't know.
Is this the non-mushy version?
What does mushy mean? What does that mean?
Soft?
Yeah,
I would say that was the exact opposite.
Yeah, the exact opposite of what I had. But they call me Mikey Mush, so that's what he's probably saying. That's
a different mush.
What the reference is. Yeah.
That's a different mush.
You've been hitting your bets since you left.
Yeah, I hit so many bets. These people they're such ingrates. You know, they pick on one thing and they bring out the Mikey Mush thing. But last night they were bringing out the TJ thing. So let me get into this for a second. 14 hours ago, right? What time was it last night if you go 14 hours?
14 hours ago would have been around 8?
9:30.
9:30. Perfect.
In the middle in the middle of the NBA Finals game where TJ McConnell was putting up some. So here's the first one I got.
10-5-5 is what
First one I got. Stephen Shell, 14 hours ago. Wonder if Mike misses watching TJ McConnell and still saying he sucks. First of all, I never said he sucked. I never said he sucked. What I've said about TJ McConnell is it's disgraceful that my man never shoots a jump shot, or he shoots when he does, he shoots it like it's a medicine ball. That's all I've said to him. He has realized that to last in the NBA, he had to play like the Tasmanian Devil. That's what he does. He plays like the Tasmanian Devil. He whirls all around. He never stops. And he plays defense. All right, that's all good. But that doesn't mean he has a lot of talent. He's been a survivor, and that's all good. He's survived in the NBA. I have said he does not have a lot of talent. He's not Magic Johnson.
I mean, I think you did say that you could find him anywhere at a YMCA.
You can.
No.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to go to your YMCA.
He's a YMCA.
I don't want to go to that YMCA.
He's a YMCA type player.
That YMCA is
one of those guys that never stops. You ever play against those guys? They never stop.
See,
they're whirling
that's
around. They're fouling you. They're doing this and doing that.
Like, quintessential YMCA player for me is like Khalif Wyatt was a quintessential YMCA player.
The kid from Temple?
Yes.
What? Because all he did was shoot?
Yes. He just rolled up, looked like he just put on shoes because they were in the corner and thought, here I am.
I got you.
I'm ready to roll. And he'll bury everything.
Yeah. All right.
Next time I see him down at the course,
don't tell Khalif.
you're never going to believe.
Khalif Wyatt.
Khalif, if you're listening, I mean that as a compliment. He looked like he just was like just a natural, but he was just like, I don't need to work at this. A YMCA player to me is a guy that doesn't work at it. He's just like, I'm just going to spot up and shoot all day.
12 hours ago, Kenneth Slavic. What are your thoughts on TJ McConnell now? Chris Fernandez, 12 hours ago. Mikey, I think people just want to hear these words from you. TJ is a better NBA player than I ever thought he would be.
You can say that.
All right.
Because you thought he wasn't going to be an NBA
I've
player.
already said that he's last in the NBA. It's an amazing story. And the guy's made $92 million in the NBA. But the only thing I've said to him, there's not a lot of talent. That's all I'm saying. All right, the stat. The people around with this stat. He's the first bench player in NBA history
10,
with
5,
5 steals, 5 assists in a finals game. Good. That's
Off the
wonderful.
bench.
That's
Off the
5
bench.
steals and 5 assists. Okay, nice.
6 steals?
Fantastic.
Whether you like it or not.
It's not one of the greatest stats on earth.
It's a good stat.
It's a nice stat.
The steals are important in that they're the most important.
So I write back. I go, oh, yeah, okay. Mike, it's about time you give me an apology. So I write back to the guy, oh, yeah, okay, now he's Magic Johnson. And the guy writes back, clearly he isn't Magic, but he is better than Simmons. No, he wasn't better than Simmons at the beginning. He was never better than Simmons at the beginning. Simmons allowed his career to throw it in the trash can. That's what he did with his career. He wasn't better than Simmons.
We actually just used the example because TJ McConnell saw his shortcomings and said, all right, well, I'm going to try to persevere aside from the fact that I can't shoot. Ben Simmons was like, I can't shoot, therefore I'm not going to do anything else ever again.
It is what it is.
Oh, it is what it is.
Well,
I don't need that voice. He is the most disappointing.
He's the biggest mutt in the history of this town.
It's just, he was so good.
But at the beginning,
he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He was great.
He was exciting.
Three-time
and he
All-Star,
still would never shoot, but he
defensive.
he still controlled the game in a lot of ways when he first came into the league.
He was a great player when he first came into the league.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
People are making the case that
he was not always
they could have
bad. Ben Simmons was very good. It just was
he threw it away.
It's frustrating.
It really
it's frustrating.
Is. It's totally frustrating. Let's go back to the text board. What do we have here?
We got some people annoyed with the earlier Hurts conversation. Terrence from Wilmington. Mike, this is what kills me. When people come to analyzing Hurts and the guy says, I don't know what to make of him. There are times when he does good things. He can run the ball, but never seems to take over the game. Okay, let's go back to the playoffs against the Rams. The first touchdown for the Eagles was a 44-yard touchdown run by Hurts. The Super Bowl, who was the leading rusher in the Super Bowl? It was Hurts. If you go back and look at film, his runs were very important for picking up necessary yards for first downs, and that point always seems to get overlooked.
The people that doubt his abilities now are just stupid. They really
They're just
are.
being Chris Sims for being
the guy's been in 2 Super Bowls. He's whatever you want to look at individually and say, well, he doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Collectively, he wins, and he does enough to win, and he does enough for this team to win. I don't know how you could shortchange a guy like that anymore.
It is crazy to me. It's like they're just picking games from last season and from a season ago to try to prove their point. And they'll go back to the turnover situation that he had 2 years ago and even at the start of last year. They won't go to anything else. And then even if you do start to give him credit, they'll say, well, it's because he's got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. Though that is not the same for anybody else. They don't do that for any other quarterback. It's very strange to me. But listen, if it helps those guys and it helps Jalen Hurts, keep the hate coming.
It's the only thing you have left, but you don't have it left anymore. So
he is a Super Bowl MVP,
right?
With 110 passer rating.
He took that criticism completely away from you, so you can't bring it out anymore. It's just ingenuous as a journalist to bring that out.
Yeah, they're just trying to find anything to grasp at that invalid point.
He is, frankly, the best quarterback in Eagle history. Is he not?
I mean,
He's the best quarterback in Eagle history. He has passed Donovan McNabb.
Statistically? No.
Not statistically,
like
but
DNA
in general, he has.
I think in general, there's a lot of people that would put him above.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
No, stop with this.
610-632-0975.
I hear this enough during the season. Ray's killing me.
Yeah, I love it, though. We love it. We're gonna publish.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
That's a very short book.
Yeah. I don't
We're going to publish it.
Typically, when you play to the standard, you win.
Yeah, it's not short. See, he's
The
got
standard is the standard.
He's got a move.
We didn't play to the standard.
It's the only show. We get one with the iterations. Do we have one with the iterations yet?
Not yet. No.
He's using the iterations a lot now.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna,
say we got a lot of them, man. I'm telling you, we got enough for a book.
I'm growing concerned. I'm gonna have to get full new Hurts board by the time we're done here with this offseason.
Absolutely. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
11:42, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. It's Matt. We get a delivery today from Wendy's. You see that out there,
I did
Amy?
see that.
Yeah, they do this on Thursday. They bring it in, and they bring in breakfast sandwiches.
Cinnamon.
However, I don't know if you're aware that I've been on this campaign. I'm an anti-egg person. And so every sandwich they bring in has egg.
Why are you anti-egg?
I don't eat eggs.
Copy that.
Yeah.
No eggs.
I'm just not an egg man.
I got it.
And so every time, like I say
You just
this
want just
all
like
the time.
sausage?
Yeah, I do with
Or
sausage.
bacon or
I'll
whatever,
do it-
bacon, egg,
yeah.
and cheese, so you just want the sausage
I
and
do
cheese.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I do.
All right.
And so you can't really get that anywhere because the world is prejudiced against
Anti-egg folk?
non-egg people. I was thinking of having a one-man demonstration against the egg people, but I figured Trump would send out the National Guard on me or something.
Wouldn't work out for you.
Right. So I can't have that demonstration. But you would think that one day.
I'm gonna. That's on my life's mission is to find you an eggless breakfast sandwich.
You can't. Now, you can go to McDonald's and order a sausage McMuffin with no egg, which I do all the time.
Yeah, and just take.
Which
yeah.
is tremendous. And here's the other thing. When you go into something and you say, okay, I want the breakfast sandwich without the egg, I would think that they would cut the price for you. They don't. They do it at McDonald's. They don't anywhere else. It's one price. We have one price.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
So it's just whatever, $2.99 or whatever the price is.
Well, like downstairs, if you get it on a bagel, it's what is it like? That's like an $8 piece, isn't it? Right down there.
Oh,
Just to walk in the door.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They got a
It's like
coupon now,
like
though,
an
right? You got a
$8
coupon?
breakfast sandwich.
Gotta get that coupon.
And so you go, I don't want it with the egg. Well, I'm expecting you to take at least $2 off of that, don't you think?
I mean, it's an important component in the composed sandwich price.
It is.
I never realized that.
I want you, of all the prejudice that goes on in this country, just add that.
The egg people.
Add that to the list.
The anti-egg people.
The anti-egg
I'm
people.
so sorry. You know what? I'll make sure it's covered.
Thank you.
We'll cover that
I appreciate
protest.
that. I think you should publicize that.
I will. I'll get it out
NBC
there.
Sports Philly as well.
We'll get there. We'll call
All right.
NBC 10. They're all over it.
Yeah. Okay. That text board. What we got? What are people saying?
Are there a couple people interested to get a little bit more of Amy's thought process on Trey Johnson? And
Okay.
we had a very, very adamant Steve from Berlin, just don't draft VJ.
You don't like
Well,
VJ
really?
Edgecombe, huh?
See, I've actually come a little bit closer over to the VJ Edgecombe camp because I looked at his shooting numbers just in Big 12 play. It was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and he shot almost 39% from three, I think it was, in Big 12 play, which is obviously the crux of your schedule. And the volume was decent at about 5 attempts per game. That was my initial. His shot looks kind of odd, to be honest, if you watch him. But if it works, I've already been down the Markelle Fultz road. I'm not messing with anybody's shot. If it works, whatever.
Yeah.
He'll grow into it. But those numbers were a little bit better for me. He's 6'4". He's a decent enough shooter. He's a great athlete. He's a good defender. And he can create for himself. He can certainly score. His shooting numbers were better than I thought. But I can't imagine saying, like, you don't take him.
He jumps out of the building, first of all.
He's a great athlete.
Unbelievable athlete. The outshot I do not like either. But I was reading a story which said he was smaller than 6'4".
What is it, like 6'2.5" without shoes on?
Yeah.
They
like
play in
that.
shoes.
Yeah, they do. But
Never understood why they give me the
thought-
measurements without shoes on.
I think they thought that he was going to be bigger than he actually measured out to be.
Interesting. I wonder what his actual measurements are.
I don't know.
I thought he was 6'4". He looks bigger. That's one of the reasons I like Trey Johnson. For somebody that was asking, I do like that he is a size guy.
All right,
6'6".
so let's get Amy on the clock. The Sixers stay at 3.
That's my guy.
Cooper, Flagg, Dylan Harper are taking 1-2. Who are you going with?
Trey Johnson.
You're taking Trey Johnson at 3.
I am. I know there's some thoughts out there. I've seen everybody say, like, oh, Con Knippel had a great workout. I'm sure he did. He's a great shooter. I need more than just a shooter. I feel like for the Sixers, they need versatility. 6'6", you can play a little bit of wing on there. I think Trey Johnson is a good defender. I think he shoots the 3 exceptionally well. I think he could be good with the first unit or the second unit. And I just like his overall game. That's what I like about him.
Okay.
Personally.
That's fair enough. Ray, what else we got?
A lot of people complimenting Amy here.
Oh.
Just
Oh, my
nice to hear Amy.
Amy's been on the chat as well.
Yeah.
I was on
Maybe
the
get a
chat
lot of
earlier.
love on the chat.
I gotta get.
We
back
did
on
get a shot at Bill of the text line, which
Yeah.
I only read because I try to read every text. I'm not
You're not
specifically
piling
picking this one out. A brick flying through the air is pretty cerebral if that's what you want to consider, Bill.
So, Bill is outside somewhere listening to this.
He's prepping the show. He's not listening.
When did he get the Shrek mantle? I don't
It's just the
remember
one
that.
YouTuber.
Oh, it's just the one
Yeah,
guy
it's just
called
one
him
YouTuber.
Shrek?
Yeah, which Bill would be like, why is he calling me Shrek? I don't know, man. You gotta ask him.
You're saying Ray and Mike giggle like schoolgirls these days. What? Seriously?
My agent has advised me against talking about the Bill era of this show, as it could lead to problems
Come on
within
now.
these four walls.
That's not right.
I don't like he's throwing shots consistently at me in the afternoon. You know,
Yeah,
talk
you
about
have
he's got a
taken
real
couple-
producer.
Yeah, you've taken a couple of shots.
Ricky too. Ricky's now all of a sudden jumping on this.
Well, it's
one.
just
I didn't
because
realize
it's
I had
just
to
like
have-
that's a gang mentality.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's
Ricky's jumped on you?
Well, like Bill
Really?
started about like the real producer, and then Ricky will kind of chime in on that. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
I see it because I watch the show. It's on when I'm at work.
Ah,
I watch the show.
All right.
So I watch this show on my YouTube,
Well,
and I listen to it. Actually,
watch it on the YouTube.
I did today. I watched it on YouTube.
Very nice. I this is the first time I've actually put the chat board up and the YouTube broadcast. I've never actually seen it.
It's a good broadcast.
Brandon does a
notch.
grew job back there.
Top notch.
Coming up, we got the news at noon, but also, Amy, at the 12 o'clock hour, I want to engage you in a conversation about these baseball misconceptions on how much of an easy life it is. Because all these baseball players were surveyed. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, and they lament the fact that people don't recognize that it's really a hardship to play Major League Baseball.
I feel like there's a joke in there somewhere.
No.
I'm excited about it.
I'm setting you up. I'm setting you up for sarcasm.
Yeah, I can
All
tell
right?
you're laying it
Yeah,
on pretty
yeah.
thick.
It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills take 2 of 3. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies took 2 of 3 over the Cubs with their 7-4 or 7-2 win over the Cubs on Wednesday afternoon. And those 2 of 3, of course, coming against the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber and Alec Boehm both over the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 brutal starts. Luzardo going 6 innings, striking out 10 batters, allowing just 1 run in the victory. Phillies now with the day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Ranger Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound Friday night at 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park. Eagles still 6 weeks away from training camp. A lot of conversation surrounding the defensive position battles they may have. Cornerback, well, there's an interesting name out there right there on the market. Jair Alexander, released by the Packers earlier this week. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about a little bit of Alexander's thought process.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a one-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll see where he keeps his eye on as a potential landing spot, and if that is with the Birds. The Pacers beat the Thunder last night in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Indiana now with a 2-1 series lead in that final series. And this update is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Tired of feeling alone in your job search? With just one connection, you can find endless job opportunities. That connection is Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA Finals action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5TheFanatic.com.
5 minutes time. All right, the Phillies. Not much feedback on whether the Phillies have pulled themselves out of the muck after taking 2 or 3 from the Chicago Cubs. A very good team, by the way. And now the Toronto Blue Jays for 3 starting tomorrow. And then 4 bops at the Marlins before the Mets, Houston, Atlanta, San Diego, Cincinnati, San Francisco, San Diego. Whoo!
Tough stretch right there.
How you feeling about the weekend series? They got to take 2 or 3 there,
absolutely.
right?
You have to absolutely take the series. Get a little. That was the first series win of June against the Cubs.
All right, so they got Suarez, Gossman, Sanchez, Francis, and Wheeler, Barrios.
Okay, I like Sunday's matchup. I like actually all of them, but definitely, who was going for the Jays on Saturday?
Francis.
I don't know anything about him.
They beat him the last time out. He had a bad outing against them last week.
I can't wait to see Bowden Francis again. I'm excited.
Yeah, he.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. I remember that one. I didn't know that he was the starting pitcher that game.
They
Yeah,
smashed him
that's
around
right.
a little bit. For Miami, I mean, they've got to sweep that, don't they?
Yes, you have to, especially after the way that they played against the Pirates.
Although they have Abel against Alcantara. First
Listen, Abel against Skeens worked out, so we'll go with that.
yeah, it didn't work out too well the other.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so and they should win.
Give me 3 or 4 against the Marlins, but I will take them. I'll take the Mick game.
I need a sweep against the Marlins.
I think you need a sweep just because after you lost you got swept by the Pirates.
6 of the next 7 I need before they get to that schedule.
Before they get
the Mets,
it's
Houston,
a really
Atlanta.
tough run right there.
Yep, they need to get 6 of the 7. If they
So
don't,
you drop one in.
If you lose one
you
to
won
Miami,
against
it's very disappointing.
Blue Jays.
Lose one against the Blue Jays, they're a good team, so I'm okay with that.
All right, 6 of 7. I'll take 5
6
of
of
7.
7.
I'll
You
take
want
2
5 of
series.
7.
I'll take 2 series wins.
You're soft on them.
That's right. I'm the mushy one now.
All right.
I'd just like to point out that the other day I caught a lot of flack when we were going through those series, and I was they'll take 2 or 3 from the Cubs. It's like, wow, Ray's so overly optimistic.
You were right about that. When I saw the Cubs, I said, "Wow, this is going to be a tough series." They're a good team.
They are a good
I
team.
like the Cubs a lot.
They're a good team.
But the Phillies
Solid.
dispatched them pretty good.
Well,
I just want to point out again. Yeah.
Well, you just want to have your flowers.
I just
You were
I
right,
didn't need
Ray.
the flowers
Good job.
necessarily from
Good
Mike
job,
on this
Ray.
one, but everyone was wow, look at that overly
All right,
optimistic.
everyone, please let Ray know that he was right.
We spent the first 3 hours of the show ripping them, and rightfully so. And then I just said, yeah, I think they'll take 2 or 3 at home against the Cubs. And it was like,
Didn't
wow,
go over
it's
so
like
well.
I had them win the World Series.
Hold on a second. What is this drop I see on my board here?
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
What is that? What is that about?
Yeah, no, that's been weaponized against me too.
Ricky on Ray crime there?
Yeah. I mean, this has been a long-standing thing, I think, with Ricky.
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can tell you that I think that was at a fan fest in which he dropped that one while I
Really?
was sitting across the table from him.
It's a little aggressive.
Yeah, which is a little much. You
So
know.
would it be fair to say that you don't have much of affection for either man in the afternoon?
No, I think Ricky and I have worked past that.
Oh, you have?
But him working with Bill now does obviously,
Brings you down a little bit?
a little bit. It's his guy now.
That's right. It's his guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
They gang up on
the
you.
show's going wonderfully for both those gentlemen.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So, best of luck.
course it is.
Best of luck to them.
It's not as good as this show.
Well, it's debatable.
I mean, is it?
I think
I leave
people
that to the
would
blogs.
debate it, but yeah, right, exactly. the blogs, they can measure that up. All right. So the news at noon is coming up. Amy, the news at noon is fascinating.
I love it. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
It's fantastic, and Ray Dunn does a fantastic job. So let me tell the people that right now it is about noon time, and you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your lunch over another rendition of the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ray Dunn with the news at noon. And how about the Indiana Pacers? They win again last night, have a 2-1 lead in the series. And guess who's back? Ray?
Pops is back in the building.
That's right, John Halliburton.
He's been back, but it was good to see him back. And apparently he was making waves pregame. Brian Windhorst was on post-game with Scott Van Pelt. I believe that's who he was on with after the game, and let everyone know that he did get a chance to have a conversation with John Halliburton. And John Halliburton grabbed him and wanted to make one thing very, very clear.
He pulled me aside before the game and he said, John Halliburton, he said, do not bet against my son. I said, I'm not betting on it all. I'm not betting on it all. He said, do not bet against my son.
Okay.
So Wendy doesn't
Check.
bet. Basically, he wanted to put that out there. He wanted. He probably did, but
He's a journalist, obviously. He's got to keep his journalist.
I don't bet. I don't bet.
It's funny though.
I bet this the Oklahoma City Thunder last night.
Well, John Halliburton's got a message for you. Don't bet against his son.
I bet it two days early too. I bet it early, like an idiot. All right, go ahead.
But of all the people that work for ESPN, Windhorst is the one you're going to grab and say, "Don't bet against my son."
I don't understand. Well, because he knew that. I'm sure he told other people that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was not the only reporter that
I
he
would
gave
grab
that line
Stephen
to.
A. I would grab.
Oh, probably did.
I would grab one of those guys before I grab Wendy.
Well,
I wouldn't grab Perk.
He was in the vicinity. When did you happen to be in the vicinity?
More like on his level, right? Well, you're gonna grab like Kittle Perkins. Like that's a big reach for.
Don't bet against his son.
I think John Halliburton's got free reign around there in Indiana at this point.
Do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's back. You're not going to ban a guy a second time after Tyrese Halliburton takes you to the finals.
He's pushing the envelope now, but you're right. He's not going to ban him.
Tyrese keeps playing like this. They might elect John Halliburton governor of that state.
I can't. Listen, I don't want to believe that they could have had him, Amy.
No.
Sixers. I don't want to believe
I've
that.
seen the theory, the butterfly effect with the Paul George and the whatever else. No, it's the same. It's the same theory when people think that the Sixers could have had Jason Tatum. It's never happened.
Yeah. So that deal wasn't out there. Is what you're saying.
It might have been, but I don't think it was actually going to come to fruition.
Okay. All right.
That's my belief.
What's next?
I'd like your belief. I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it.
Maybe I'm just my head in the sand on that one too.
Yep.
All right. Let's continue with the NBA conversation and take it to a team that lost the Pacers. Mike's Knicks. They're in a tough spot right now. They're looking for a new coach. Rest of the NBA knows it. Shams was on with Pat McAfee's show trying to break down exactly how bad things are going for the Knicks in this early portion of the head coach search.
When you fire a coach who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, and you don't really, it doesn't seem like they had a direct path to a coach, whether it's someone that's available like a Taylor Jenkins, a Michael Malone, a Mike Brown, whether it's a coach from another team. Like, this is not the first time a coach from another team might move. But as I reported last night this morning, the Knicks made permission requests over the last 24, 48 hours on Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Ime Udoka of the Houston Rockets, and this morning, Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks. All three were given swift denials. Like these were the reactions. Teams are saying no, hanging up. Teams are saying F no. Teams are saying, like, having the owner call and say, we're not doing this. And so I think those were the reactions that I heard from those three denials.
Yeah.
Is that the most personality we ever got out of Shams with an F no?
Absolutely.
F no.
He'll give you a little in there, but that was about as animated as he's been.
Yeah. I
love that those coaches or those teams are just.
It is. It's fantastic.
Hilarious.
The Knicks have a lot of balls.
They really talk about like people that are feeling themselves.
Seriously.
Oh, don't you want to drop everything and come here?
Yeah, we're the Knicks. You
I have a good situation.
It reminds me
Jason
of
Kidd. He just got Cooper Flag.
Right.
Like, come on.
It's like Judge Chamberlain in My Cousin Vinny. Request denied, Mr. Gambini.
Just like
request denied.
I think it's amazing.
What's up next?
Well, if they reach out to the Bucks, are they going to get one of these?
It's a dumbass question.
Oh. Would you ask Pop that question?
I have a recommendation. They should go to Milwaukee.
That's
Doc the job.
That's a phone call that is absolutely going to be answered.
There you go.
All right. Last one for you.
Why wouldn't they go after Doc?
It's a great question. Why wouldn't they go after Doc?
Why is Doc? What is he? He's persona non grata now. They've asked everybody and their brother. They don't ask Doc.
Do you think they called the Sixers?
I don't know.
I would say no.
For Nicky?
I mean, he's certainly better than Doc.
Would you trade Nick Nurse?
No.
I would.
For whom?
I'd get a draft pick out of this. Oh, they don't have any draft picks.
No.
Who would you get for the Knicks? Mikal Bridges.
We already had him. That's just salt in the wound right there.
Seriously, would you trade Nick Nurse for Mikal Bridges? You wouldn't?
No.
Oh, I would.
Oh, I would.
Come on,
I'd do
man.
it.
I already have a 3-pick. I'm going to get Mikal Bridges.
All right.
How's the money? I'm going too deep down this rabbit hole because I'm actually going to think about that at the break. All right. Inside the NBA, obviously, we know it's making the move. We've talked about it a number of times. One person, I don't think we've got the long-form version of his feelings on the show, is Adam Silver. He's talked about it a few times. He's on with Dan Patrick and interested in a couple of different things within this clip. Take a listen.
They made a decision to take an entertainment route with that studio show. I mean, I think ESPN was always about more hardcore basketball. Maybe NBC was somewhere in the middle in the old days, but it's an entertainment show, and he's entertaining, and fans seem to love it. Sometimes he's a bit of the crazy uncle, I think, but even when I think there's a difference when putting aside, how focused he is on the game. My sense always when Charles is critical, it is a little bit like your uncle at the Thanksgiving table being critical. It's like there's no doubt it comes from a place of love. I don't feel the same way about some of the other commentators. And I think it's Charles found a lane and he does it well. And it'll be interesting to see how that converts. As you know, they're now bringing that studio show to ESPN and ABC next year.
Yeah.
I think, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I love the fact that those guys are still going to be involved in our telecast, but, I'm not sure whether it will be produced differently for them or there'll be a different expectation from ESPN and ABC fans or watchers than maybe what people are seeing late at night on TNT.
Damn.
I mean, that is just...
Oof. He ripped into Chuck. Basically said he knows nothing.
It's purely entertainment.
It's the crazy uncle. Oh, Chuck got to fire back. We got to get them all
Also,
this week.
you said, fans seem to love it. Okay. I don't think you can take the word seem out of there.
Yeah, the seam.
The seam was a knock right there.
The last 20 seconds there talking about how it might be produced differently with ESPN.
I'm going to text him right now. I'm going to text him right now. I want to get him on tomorrow.
All right.
Got to fire back. Adam Silver took his manhood away there.
He did. Now, there was a portion of the conversation where he did mention that Chuck actually watches the games, contrary to popular belief. That was the only credit that he got in this.
That he actually has eyeballs on the screen.
Silver said he's been down at their studios and watched Charles watch the game.
He doesn't talk about it according to Adam Silver.
The crazy
he
uncle.
just said that he watches.
Come on. You can't call it a crazy uncle.
I'm all for igniting a little beef between Adam and
we're going to
Silver.
ignite this beef. I'm going to raise the level of this one. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. You just heard him talk about Charles Barkley. How do you feel about that? We're back after this.
We want to hear from you. So text us at 6.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, you had to play that song today, right? Huh?
It's all a rotator. It comes up whenever.
Okay. All right. That's a Philly band, by the way. Amy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a Philly band. But I won't tell you the name of it. It would be inappropriate for me to tell you the name of the Philly band.
Ray will tell me who it is.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Ray's
I
not
had to
gonna
look
tell
up
you.
whether it was an FCC violation to
Ray's-
say their name.
Ray's
Copy
not-
that.
So I'm certainly not going to be the one to say it.
Yeah. 610.
If I ever make it to the Mount Rushmore of Sports Talk Radio in this town, I'll say the
Then
name.
you'll say it? Copy
Till that point,
That's good.
I'm going to keep my job.
610-632-0975. We got Reggie currently on. I start traveling truck driver. Hey, Reggie. He's currently on. Where in the world is Reggie? He's in Vegas. Reggie, what's going on in Las Vegas today?
Oh, let's see. Well, yesterday it was 112 with strong winds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah, 112.
But it's a dry heat.
Let me. Yeah, dry heat. That's what they say. Dry heat.
Yep.
Which means you don't sweat, so you don't realize your body temperature. Because when East Coast, y'all know I'm Philly born and raised.
Yep.
Good morning, Amy. Let me slip that in.
Good morning, sir. Safe travels.
Wow. All right. When we sweat, we are taught that sweating is our body's cooling system. So out here where it's dry, if you're not keeping yourself hydrated, you don't realize how hot your body temperature is, especially at your core, which is around your waist. So, and I learned this from the military, always wear loose-fitting clothing, especially around the waist, because that's where your body temperature will be the hottest. And if you do pass out from heat exhaustion, that's where the medical people check your body temperature at your core. So the dry heat means you don't sweat.
Correct.
But, out here in Las Vegas, people are drinking. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
And if I can give you a little tidbit real fast, this is the second city named Las Vegas because in New Mexico is the older place. Now, it don't have the lights and all that, but New Mexico has the first place named Las Vegas.
Really? There's a Las Vegas, New Mexico, huh?
Yep, higher altitude, up around 5,000 feet or so. Yep.
But not as exciting.
No, I don't have as many lights and no casinos.
I got you. Reggie, what's on your mind today, brother?
I was listening to the first caller, Greg, and I missed his theme music and I missed mine, but Greg asked a very good question, and it was about throwing a splitter, right? And I said, well, you have to use the word easier. So high school, into college and so forth, it's easier for pitchers to throw fastballs. Occasionally they throw a curve. And I learned this from watching the Nolan Ryan video, and he taught how he threw his curveball and others and how he would hold the ball and so forth and so on. But, yeah, the splitter is harder because, as you said, if your fingers are not long to grip the pitch properly and so forth, you can't throw it.
Plus,
so
it's tough to release. It's like when you don't have as much control with your fingers on a splitter.
Yeah. What's that guy's name that teaches pitching? Is it Tom Masters? He has a whole video thing of teaching how to throw pitches.
Oh, I don't know.
That's like an old school, like one of those commercials.
Yeah.
Like Tommy Mansky, like the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Remember all those? Fred McGriff was always in those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you had a bunch of kids turning double plays and throwing it all around the infield.
Yeah. Can I give Ray an advisory, please? Good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
You mentioned earlier that when the Brian Windhorst thing, that maybe they could grab Stephen A. Smith. Now, to me, his letters, SAS, means sass. I would not grab him to initiate a conversation. To me, all his sentences are about 900 words.
Oh, you're not a fan of SAS, Reggie?
No, I don't like sass.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't think he cares, to be honest with you. With the 20 million coming his way.
This is very, very bad.
And he's got another job, for crying out loud.
Got 2 jobs.
Steve, come on, man, enough.
I like the Mike Missanelli show. I like Ray, Amy Fadul. I've watched you on those telecasts. You're talented, intelligent.
Thank you.
and you know the sport because you study. So
Look at that! Look at that! Reggie on
bringing it home. I appreciate
on
that.
board with Ames.
Thanks so much. That's so nice.
Reggie, good guy. He's
Out there in Las Vegas, I appreciated the dry heat stuff.
Yeah,
that's
he travels
important
all
things.
over. Like we can hear from him in Iowa, Las Vegas, Maine. Like where in the world is he calling from? I got special admiration for a truck driver who lives that kind of lifestyle.
Especially long haul guys like that. Yeah, they're going all over.
You got to sleep in your cab. No, I can't be sleeping in a cab.
Well, yeah,
right, I need an adjustable base now. You got adjustable base? No. You don't? Oh, you can't live without it.
Do I need to be propped up?
Once you get to watch TV. You watch TV in bed?
No.
You don't? No.
No.
You never watch TV in bed?
Not
when you go to bed, it's to sleep?
Yeah.
It's never
That's usually
to
like
read?
to look on my phone. Yeah, to read. Yes, I read 100%
Okay, well,
all
there
the
you
time.
go. Imagine you had that adjustable base. It props you up a
just
little
put my
bit in a
pillows
reading
back there.
position. You put yourself in a zero G position. You ever put yourself in a zero G position?
No.
Oh, the zero G.
I'm
Raises it raises your legs up.
I'm
it
declined?
It's like an S. It's like an S. It puts your back in proper position. Zero gravity.
Well, now I'm interested.
There are two things that I learned I couldn't live without. One was the e-bike.
Okay, now I don't understand why you need an e-bike.
Oh, the e-bike. Once you drive an e-bike, you'll never go back.
Isn't that just like a moped?
No, it's not.
How is it not like a moped?
You still pedal.
Well, I can pedal a moped if I wanted to.
You're just going further.
So, okay.
It's not motorized. It just puts more energy in the pedals.
Okay. So it's just you work smarter, not harder.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So you're going up a bridge. Like, for instance, I'll drive to Avalon from where I am, from Ocean City to Avalon.
Right.
You go up that monster bridge to get to Avalon, eats it right up.
So
eats
all
up
the
hills.
all the energy that you've already expended, you can use it right there. It's in reserve on your e-bike.
The e-bike kicks in to, like, you put it on turbo, and you just kill the hill.
All right. So e-bike.
E-bike,
An
adjustable base
base.
bed. Make your life way easier.
Things
Ray's
I
still
didn't know.
young. He doesn't need it.
Can I admit something?
What?
The television that's in my room, like my actual bedroom,
watch
entirely
TV.
for show.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
I never
I read
used
a
it.
lot.
I watch TV all the time in bed.
I read a lot.
And then I go, I know when it's time to go turn it off. So I don't fall asleep.
I
with the
used
TV.
to. I would have to. I use the TV timer back in the day, but I don't have a TV in my room now.
I fall asleep on the couch all the time watching television. That gets me.
Adjustable base. The people that have it know its value. 610-632-0975. You know, we had a couple of deaths in the music world that we're going to pay tribute to. Two monster names.
Monster name.
And Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills take 2 or 3. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs. Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 of 3 from the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber and Alec Boehm homered in the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 brutal starts. Luzardo went 6 innings, struck out 10 batters, allowed just 1 run in the win. The Phillies now have a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Ranger Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound on Friday night at 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles still 6 weeks out from training camp as the conversation around the team continues to with a lot of what's going to happen on that defense. Cornerback is a position we've talked a lot about, and there is now an all-pro corner out there for the taking after the Packers released Jair Alexander. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday and talked about the thought process of what Alexander might do.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a one-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll see if he keeps his eyes on the Birds as a potential landing spot. The Pacers beat the Thunder last night in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, taking a 2-1 series lead. This update is also brought to you by WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private because your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even WhatsApp. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for the NBA Finals, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Show, right. On the chat, is this MVD, BDVF?
Yeah, that's the famous MBD.
That's the famous MBD?
Yes. Did he get me again?
He says, I haven't turned the TV on in my bedroom in maybe a year. How's that possible? How is that even possible?
I haven't either.
Well, I don't get it. You're upstairs in your bedroom, even if you're like changing clothes or something, you have a TV on as background noise, something's on. No?
No.
I mean, how long are you taking to change clothes?
I don't know. Like, I get the Phillies game on downstairs. I come upstairs and I change into, I don't know, some lounge pants or something. I put the Phillies game on in the bedroom.
I guess I just don't need it for that 25 seconds I'm doing that.
I will say I've been mocked by my roommates for the amount of times I fall asleep on the couch. Like,
watching TV?
Yeah, like I'll watch
the
a
TV
West Coast
timer
game.
is key. You got to put the sleep timer on.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you just, like, if you're ready to fall asleep, go put the TV on and fall asleep to the TV?
Well, you also know how I consume content, and we've got all the passwords on the television in the living room. And for me to take the passwords from the television living room, which is going to be a huge problem when we move out. Like,
you could just take a picture of it on your phone.
Of the password? I don't even know some of these passwords. Like, these accounts, I was using accounts of people I don't even know. Like,
you thief.
I'm not thief.
I see.
Crack down on
They're
you,
just
man.
saved on there in the on the TV, and you can't see it.
We got a new TV recently, which I think finally turned it all over to, like, people we know. But, like, when we had the old TV, my roommate who moved to Baltimore 2 years ago, I was using his Hulu. I was using his... I hadn't seen the man in, like, 3 or 4 months, but I had been on his Hulu account almost every day for a year.
Man,
Great guy.
I got different habits. Like, I'll be downstairs watching TV. I have time to go up. I go up, but I can't just go up and fall asleep. I go up, I got to put a TV on. So I flip around. Oh, looky here, The Godfather's on. And I'll see it. I'll watch it for the 200th time.
See, that's TikTok.
Parts of it. And
Yeah,
then
see,
I'll go,
that's social media for me. Like
I'm starting to get a little drowsy. All right, turn the TV off. Boom, go to sleep.
that's me. It's just like all of a sudden I'm like down the rabbit hole on TikTok or Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this is 45 minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
All right, so you're doing that. You're doing
Yeah,
that
so that's
part.
why I don't.
All right,
I used to have a
used to
TV,
tell
but
you.
I don't need it anymore.
Really?
Because I do that nonsense at like 1:15 a.m. Well, let's just go. Let's just see what they added on the internet.
I got to have my television on at night when I'm in bed.
I'm watching Padres-Dodgers the other night, and I'm on the couch, and I just curl up, and then next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning.
Got the adjustable base, put my back in the proper position.
The S
Maybe
curve.
do a little 0G, watch TV. Maybe have a sandwich.
Costanza?
You're going to eat there, too?
Pastrami.
You're gonna eat?
Pastrami sandwich.
You're going to eat?
Yeah, I snack. Like I have a box of Cheez-Its or something.
In the bed?
Yeah, why not? What do you mean
Why
in
not?
the bed?
Because there are not crumbs everywhere.
I'm not crumbing the bed. It's a little Cheez-It.
Yeah, they're going to go all over you.
No, they're not. You put
Yes,
the
they
whole
are.
Cheez-It in your mouth.
I don't know. That's a recipe for a disaster.
I was like you. I had an ex teach that out of me.
Really?
That's the one
Snack
thing I
in
took
bed?
from... Yeah.
Took that. I like snagging in bed. It's the best.
Like a little, I don't know.
Little trail
About, like,
mix. I don't know.
I think it's weird. Like, it's one thing if you're eating something and like all of a sudden now I want to finish it while I'm like getting ready for it, but you like are specifically bringing a snack to the bed, like a box of Cheez-Its.
I bring a box of Cheez-Its every now and then.
The only time that happens for me is after a few. Going downstairs. I got to lay down.
Now, I will say I've been known to bring the snack or a beverage, and that's also bedside. The fact that I thought I needed one more and then I brought it with me is always my favorite thing.
Oh, you're not hydrating when you're bringing that's
no, that is absolutely. And I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what was I thinking? Why is that still there? A glass of wine did not need to be there at 7 a.m.
See, if I have a glass of wine at night, I can't sleep.
Really?
Yeah, it's the opposite for most people, right?
Yeah. No, that would,
I can't sleep. I have a glass of wine.
Maybe it's because I don't drink caffeine.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I need another cup of coffee.
He's like, by the way,
I'll take that walk with you at the break.
There's these
Need
two.
a cup of coffee right there?
Yeah, big time.
All right, right. So we had a couple deaths. Yesterday, news break said Brian Wilson, the founder of the legendary Beach Boys. I full disclosure, I'm not into the Beach Boys at all. I missed that phase completely. Bill Colarulo is a big Beach Boys guy, but they were noteworthy. In fact, you can make a case.
He was quite noteworthy of the Beach Boys.
Yes. Yeah, he was. You can make a case that the Beach Boys may be a top 5 of all time.
For an American-made
as far
band?
as being big.
Oh, yeah.
They were huge.
Yeah, I think people nowadays equate them for the kind of like poppy sound
Yeah.
that they had at the end.
Yeah.
And that's not like when I talked to my parents, the Beach Boys was a much more edgy group back in the 60s.
Yeah,
like Pet Sounds is a seminal album for a lot of people.
They may have been the first band, too, to get involved in the drug culture.
And I think people think that they're just like a bunch of like,
no.
guys wearing like Hawaiian shirts. It's really not their vibe.
The Wilsons went hard at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, just in honor of Brian Wilson, let's play. This is one of their most popular tunes, right? Kick it.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle word.
That's beautiful.
Good
right?
song.
A little harmony, beautiful.
Great lyrics, too.
Yeah, there you go. So that's Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. But earlier in the week, oh man, it stunned me. The leader of one of the great soul bands of all time, Sly and the Family Stone, passed away. You got to kick this for me, Ray. There we go. Comes a drum coming in now. There it is. All right, comes. All we need is it.
All we need is a drummer for people who only need a beat. Yeah.
Oh man, come on, Amy.
That's a good song.
There you go.
Yeah, if you don't jam to that right now,
Yeah, I had
check your pulse.
I had that album too, way back in the day. Sly and Family Stone, fantastic. All right, 610-632-0975. Let's go to our man Vicente from Lansdowne checking in. What's up, Vicente?
Hola, amigo Mikey Mees.
Hola.
Hello.
Were you
to the princess, Amy Fadul.
gosh.
You're lucky.
She's gonna flirt.
Scott Marsteller is a genius.
Yeah, he's a Latin lover, this guy.
Amy Fadul, she brings a lot of expertise in NBA and Phillies. I have seen it in NBC Sports.
Thank you
Great
so
for
much.
you.
That's so nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meet you in person, but I miss you in the broadcast of the Philadelphia Eagles parade back in February at the hotel.
Oh, you were there? I was outside.
I was
I
there.
wasn't at the hotel. Yes. Well, I stopped by. I walked across the street to say hi to these guys because they were all up at the hotel. I was across the street station at the Academy House or whatever that was.
Right, I know.
Well, you're flirtatious today. Calmate, hombre.
Oh, come on. She has had a lot of camaraderie with Michael Barkan and other great assets in the Fanatic, throughout history.
She's fantastic.
I know. I can testify she's very knowledgeable.
Yes, very knowledgeable.
Thank you.
Yes, just like you, Mike. Don't get jealous.
Would never.
You silver-tongued devil, you. Go ahead. What else you got?
Listen, Mike, I really like your American pipe, baseball cap.
Yeah.
This is from the Johnstown, Pennsylvania, from the All Right Moves.
All the right moves.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah,
All the Right Moves in 1983, Tom Cruise movie.
That is correct. Craig T. Nelson.
I was there on my travels through Western Pennsylvania. I was there in Johnstown, and I saw, the Point Stadium before they demolished and stuff.
No, it wasn't Johnstown. It was Ambridge, Pennsylvania.
It was out by
Ambridge,
Johnstown,
yes.
though, right?
Yeah, it was further
Yeah.
west. It's Pittsburghish.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, what is something in common between the character that Tom Cruise has played, Stefan, and his father, who was working in the iron and the steel?
He was in the mill. Yeah, he was
the
in
name
the steel
of the
mill.
company with the hotel that you were broadcasting.
The hotel I was broadcasting. I don't know. What are you talking about?
The Eagles parade in February. Cambria.
Oh, Cambria
Remember?
was the name of the mill?
Correctamundo.
Wow.
Iron Works.
That's good work by you, brother.
my
By the way,
God.
Ambridge,
You gotta pay attention.
Ambridge, where it's modeled after, is a borough in Beaver County, which is 16 miles northwest of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I wanted to ask Amy about the Sixers pick number 3, and what she thinks about BJ
Edgecombe.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Or the other guy from Texas.
Trey Johnson.
Ace Bailey
Loves the guy from
or
Texas.
Trey Johnson.
Yeah, so I have come a little bit further over on VJ Edgecombe than I was initially. I was kind of, I won't say anti. I think he's a good player. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's a good defender. I think he's a guy that can score. And I wasn't as sure about his shot because if you look at it, it's not the best looking shot. But he does shoot it at a decent clip. He had good numbers in Big 12 play, which shows a lot because that's obviously the more important part than when you look at the crux of a one season in college. It's hard to judge these guys. I like Trey Johnson for his size, 6'6". He shoots the 3 exceptionally well. He's well over 40% on that frame, and I like that he gives them a little bit of versatility. And I know I'm going to get strays in the chat, but I do think he is a good defender.
What about Ace Bailey or Kong Nipple?
Con Knipple,
I see him getting to the basket in the NBA that easily.
I think he's a great shooter. There is no doubt about it. He is going to be the Klay Thompson of this draft as far as shooting wise. Klay Thompson was a very good defender. I don't know that Con Knipple has that in him. Ace Bailey, I mean, he hasn't wowed me with anything yet. Again, I've looked at the Rutgers guys a little bit more discerningly because I think that I was down on both him and Dylan Harper, so I don't want to be too hard on them. But I did see them kind of disappear at times, and I like the numbers better on Trey Johnson. But then if you want to go further, I do like them on VJ Edgecombe, too. That's me.
Thanks for your expertise. Thank you.
Of course.
Oh,
Just my opinion. I don't know if it's expertise.
Vicente, thanks for the call.
Have a good one.
All right,
Thanks,
there
buddy.
you go. Oh, Vicente was sweet today. Right? What do you think?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very, very flirtatious today.
Never that nice to Bill.
No, he was never that nice. Never that nice to me either. No, he is nice.
He was nice to
Yeah,
you.
he's a good guy.
You did just miss him at the parade.
Yeah.
I guess I must have because I was done at whatever time and I came right over. And these guys, I think you guys just wrapped. I think it was like 2:30 because I found you outside.
Yeah.
And you were done.
Yeah, right.
I was wrapped up. To be fair, it was kind of your fault that I ended up in the state that I was in.
Well, you were done with your work purposes, which is why I wanted to share.
Vicente
with you.
actually walked and watched as the Mad Dog was consumed.
Really?
Because he wanted to get to the afternoon show at Pagano's.
Oh, so he had to cut through.
So he walked
must
with
have just
us.
Yeah, so I must have just missed him because I did drop off the Orange Julius. Orange Jubilee.
It would be memorable when you met Vicente, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Vicente
for sure. My friends haven't stopped talking about Vicente.
610-632-0975. On the other side, I'm going to test Amy. Test Amy to name the top selling jerseys in the NFL. We already know number one, so we'll reveal that. But there's many other jerseys, 50 in fact.
50?
We're going to go through all 50. No, we're going to go through all 50. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Thursday, June 12th, the Phillies took the rubber.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Ladies and gentlemen, the top-selling jersey in the NFL is Saquon Barkley. Yeah. There you go. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Jalen Hurts.
There you go.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Right. Number 4, Amy Fadul.
Travis Kelce?
Incorrect.
Oh, is
Quarterback. Let's stay with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Incorrect.
I can't buzz me for that.
3 quarterbacks are the next 3. Josh Allen's one of them, but he's 6th.
But he's not. So I'm on 4th.
4 and 5.
I mean, I don't know any other quarterback that I would get a jersey for. Oh, Lamar Jackson.
Incorrect.
The buzzing is so unnecessary. Is it out? Is it an NFC team or an AFC
It's
team?
an NFC East team.
Oh, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is
well,
correct.
Our Commanders fans are all excited.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, we got a quarterback. Congratulations, you finally have a quarterback. Good job. I am
Number
excited for them.
5 plays in Texas.
Plays in Texas. Dak Prescott.
No.
C.J. Stroud.
Correct.
Amazing.
C.J. Stroud. All right, now. That's the run of quarterbacks. Now we get past the QBs. Number 7 is a defensive end who plays in the NFC.
Micah Parsons?
Incorrect. Micah is 9th.
The buzzing. Is that necessary?
Yes.
It's either that or Jalen Hurts drops. You get to pick. One gets to go.
The next 2 actually come from the same team. One's a wide receiver. The other's a defensive end who was hurt last year.
It's the wide receiver Justin Jefferson?
No, it's not Justin Jefferson.
I'm failing at this.
Let's go
For people that think that like I look this stuff up, yeah, I can
go
tell
to
them.
Detroit.
Okay, I'm in Detroit. What
You're
am I
in
doing?
Detroit. Defensive
Amon
end
Ra
and wide receiver.
St. Brown?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is 8. Correct.
Okay.
Number 7. You still need a defensive end.
Why am I blanking on it? Oh,
The kid from Michigan.
I can literally picture him right now.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Hutchinson. I was like, he was hurt all of last year. He's been in those commercials lately where he does like ballet.
I will give you the position now. So Micah Parsons is 9.
Okay.
Number 10 is a wide receiver in the NFC. That's Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Number
okay.
11 is a tight end.
Travis Kelce.
Correct. Number 12, we are back to quarterback at number 12. NFC quarterback.
NFC quarterback.
One of Ray's favorite players.
Oh, Jared Goff.
Incorrect.
That's a buzz for Jared Goff and a buzz for you liking Jared
NFC
Goff.
Central. The next 2 are NFC Central.
The NFC Central?
Yes.
What? I'm sorry.
North, South?
Yeah, there is no such thing as the Central.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Central. I was thinking of Central America.
I was like,
the North.
I was thinking of Central.
The North.
NFC.
I'm like,
NFC,
all right,
NFC South.
NFC South. That is a big difference. Central, I was going to put them at North. NFC South. So.
No, this is NFC North.
Yeah, it's the North.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's the NFC North.
What's happening right now?
I screwed up.
The quarterback
I'm taking you down a really bad path here.
I am all over the place. I'm trying to figure out who used to be in the Central so I can see who it was.
Yeah, NFC North.
Is it it's a Vikings guy?
It is not the Vikings.
Not the Vikings guy.
No.
Okay.
Quarterback.
Clearly, I haven't shown this guy enough love.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. And then,
you do love Jordan Love.
And then Caleb Williams.
Oh. Okay, for the Bears.
I can leave him.
And we'll pull it out to 15. Number 14 is a quarterback.
Another quarterback. AFC, Lamar Jackson.
Incorrect.
Those Rams.
Lamar's not in the top 15.
Those Ravens fans, they don't care no more.
Get me a Super Bowl or I'm not buying
exactly.
your jersey.
I'm all done with your jersey, Lamar. I don't care about your MVPs. He's an AFC quarterback.
Yeah, AFC quarterback. Good player. Really good player. Top 5 quarterback in the league.
And I already named Josh Allen.
Joe
Burrow.
And then finally,
I forgot about Joe Burrow.
a running back.
It's like that's only the second running back, right?
Yeah.
It was just Saquon, and then now number 15 is a running back.
Next running back.
Robinson and Falcons.
Incorrect. He's a fantasy football darling, but he really didn't perform last year. as a fantasy football
The
darling.
fantasy football
Yeah,
darling.
he was a lot of people's number one pick in a fantasy draft.
Christian McCaffrey.
Correct. There you go.
All right. I did not fare
All right,
very
let me
well.
see. Who's number 50? Who's last?
Two running backs in the top 15 is
Sauce Gardner is the last, is the number 50.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was 16. I was like,
Sauce Gardner is 2 below J.J. McCarthy. That's a violation.
J.J. McCarthy.
Are there any other Eagles in the top?
They're just like dying to have quarterbacks, right? That's just
Give me your other Eagles in the top 50.
A.J. Brown,
A.J. Brown is 24th.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith is 29th. One more.
Is it a defensive player?
It is.
Jalen Carter.
Incorrect.
Oh, Zach Bond.
Incorrect.
Darn it! I would get a Zach Bond jersey tomorrow. Cooper DeJean.
Correct.
I don't know why I didn't think of that first.
Cooper DeJean is correct. That's good work.
Yeah,
There you go.
my mind was blown for a second. I would have gotten a Jalen
guesses
Carter.
the NFL jerseys. That segment was called, and it was brought to you by
By
nobody.
us.
NFLPA.
We didn't
Yes.
have a sponsor for that.
Fanatics.
Jeff and Uncle Frank are on hold. We'll get to Mike Missanelli Show continues. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies take 2 of 3. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 of 3 from the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber and Alec Boehm homered in the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 bad starts. Luzardo went 6 innings, struck out 10 batters, allowed just 1 run in the win. The Phillies now have a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Rangers Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound on Friday night at 6:45 down at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles are still 6 weeks away from training camp. The conversation around them has a lot to do with some of the position battles, specifically defensively. There is a cornerback out there now as the Packers released Jair Alexander this week. Adam Schefter talked about Alexander's thinking as he moves into this free agency process.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a 1-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
So we'll keep our eye on what Alexander plans on doing. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Pacers, with a big Game 3 win over the Thunder, now lead the series 2-1 in the NBA Finals. This update's brought to you by Electrical Workers Local 269, the Electrical Training Alliance, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 269, and the Electrical Training Alliance can offer a career with no college debt. To learn more, go to IBEW269.com. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA Finals action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5, Mike Missanelli Show. Let me ask you a question. When somebody asked you, how you doing?
How you doing?
Do you say good?
No.
Or do you say I'm well?
I say I'm doing pretty well.
You say you always use the proper grammar.
I'm a weirdo that way, though. Don't judge. I mean, don't judge everyone else on my odd peccadillo of using the.
No, you're right. I just passed a guy in the hallway. And I said,
Sometimes I'll say pretty good, but I tend to say I'm doing well.
I just use one word. How you doing? Good. That's all I say. It's good.
Yeah, well, I think that's okay.
Because if you say well, that sounds odd.
It does. I would say I'm doing well. Like I usually repeat it. Someone's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm doing well.
Yeah. So a guy.
But if like I say one word, I would usually say like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." I don't know.
Yeah, I just use one word. But you're right. Well is proper grammar. So the guy said, I go to the guy, "How you doing?" He goes, "I'm well." And I went, "Oh, that sounded sophisticated."
It does. It makes it sound like you also inquired about their health.
Right. I'm well.
I am well. Thank you so much. I was ill, and now I'm well.
Yeah, I just learned something. I think I'm going to say I'm well.
Yeah.
Next time. Right?
I hit him with a can't complain all the time.
Oh, that's always a safe one.
Can't complain.
Can't complain.
I mean, I can, and quite
I
literally,
probably will.
If you go any further into that conversation, there's a good chance
But
that I will.
there are people when you ask them how they're doing, and then they actually tell you. Sometimes you're not prepared for that.
No.
I have worked with people like that, and you'd ask them, and they would, here it comes. I'm like, wow, didn't know we were getting that. Okay,
It
here
reminds
we
me
go.
of the
Let's go.
old comedy routine by a guy named Dom Herrera, Italian comic. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He goes, Italian family. You
I'd have to look at it and see if
Hey,
it makes you
I got this old Uncle Joe. I go, hey, Uncle Joe, how you doing, Uncle Joe? Yeah, my wife's a pain in the ass. My daughter's married to a friggin' loser, and I got a rash on my ass so bad I can't sit down. But you know me, I can't complain.
I feel like Dangerfield had those bits too. Like he's going to say he doesn't.
That was the Dangerfield era.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they were like, I don't want to talk about it, but then they tell you about
In fact,
it.
that guy was on. You remember Rodney Dangerfield used to have this show called Rodney Dangerfield's comedic special on HBO, and he would have these comics come on, and that was one of the guys that came on. He's a Philly guy,
Dom Herrera?
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up because it might seem familiar if I see his
He
face.
was Ronnie the prop comic on a Seinfeld episode, right?
Oh, yeah. I know
That's who
this
Dom.
is.
That's who
I
Dom
just pulled him
Herrera
up.
is. Yeah, you know who he is.
Yeah, I do know who he is.
Yeah,
I didn't know he's from here.
Yeah, he's from here.
I think he still is.
In fact, his best friend is the former coach of Lafayette and the Villanova star, Fran O'Hanlon.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. They're best buddies. They went to Monsignor Bonner together, I think, is the story. Well, that's just a little tidbit that nobody cares about.
I care a lot about
You
this
care
one.
about
This
that?
is great.
Yeah.
You gave me a great connection here.
Really?
Seinfeld.
There you go. I connected the dots.
And he was in
Hanlon's
a
still
Comedy
coaching,
Central
though, right?
Rose.
He retired.
he retired.
He
Just retired?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for like maybe a year or two ago
Yes.
from Lafayette? Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's go to Uncle Frank. What's up, Uncle Frank?
Good day, Michael.
Good day, Uncle
Amy.
Frank.
Hello, Uncle.
Amy, it's been several minutes. And Ray, how the hell are you?
I can't complain.
Michael, by the way.
You know me, I
Doing
can't
well.
complain.
Yeah, except for the rash on your ass.
Yeah.
Michael, I loved Grand Funk Railroad, and that was a great pull yesterday. Mark Farner.
Mark Farner, the lead guitar player of a Grand Funk Railroad. One of my early rock groups, go-to rock groups.
Yep. Everybody. All right.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I need to ask you: Are you going beat on me? You said the other day you're out on the NBA Finals.
I got to be honest with you. I love good basketball. Both those teams play great basketball. It's not enough to bring me to the table. Oklahoma City versus Indiana. I don't know why. I hate to be that cliche guy, but I just haven't been that interested in it, and it's a great series.
Yeah, they're well-coached teams. You know what I love about the teams? They have a good mid-range game. I mean, it's not Bernard King-esque, but led by TJ, by the way.
Yeah.
But
double single TJ.
It's not
The poor kid.
Double single every night. You can count on him.
It's just not your typical pull up and shoot.
What's the matter with you?
So, I'm telling you, Amy, are you into it?
The NBA Finals, yeah. It's, like Mike
Amy's
said,
a basketball head.
like Mike said, though, it's a good series if you're into basketball. It's a tough general watch.
Yeah.
If just
The
people in general
public.
are like,
But see, I fashion my. I'm not
But
a
you're more
general
than
public.
that.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it would be enough because it is such a good series.
I'm disappointed in myself. I gotta be honest with you.
because I thought you'd be
am.
locked in.
I know.
It is a very
I'm
there's some
all in.
high level
Yeah,
players in this one.
gotta
They're
get back
both
in.
well coached.
These TJ Pacers are pesky. They're not going away easily.
They are.
TJ's
Mike,
They're hustlers. They're a little scrappy.
They are a
Little
scrappy bunch.
Scrappy hustlers.
Scrappy bunch.
Yes.
I'll bet you a jar of Rayos on the series. How's that?
You'll bet me what?
Rayos, the
what?
Italian,
A jar of Rayo
jar-
sauce?
Yeah.
It's not gonna make his own sauce.
I don't think I'd go there either, Uncle Frank. To be honest with you.
I know.
All right, man.
That's good. All right.
Good talking to you. There he is, the great Uncle Frank. It's 1 o'clock. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. You're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. And we broadcast from right here, the Comcast Studios, business studios, powering possibilities. All right, you can climb in at 610-632-0975. The chat board's been going crazy since Amy's here. They love you, Amy.
So nice.
And, of course, the text board at 610-632-0975. Ray, any provocative texts coming in right now?
Provocative?
Yes.
Not so sure.
Any interesting texts coming in right now?
Joe from West Philly wanted to get back to Amy with the NBA draft conversation and wanted to know what she thought of the fact they need more defensive presence with guards alongside Maxey and McCain. The impression about Trey Johnson is he's a taller Jared McCain that's not really a defensive type player. He just shoots. Edgecombe is 6'5" by all accounts I've heard with sneakers. Tyrese Maxey needs a backcourt mate that can match his motor, run the floor with him, and finish on the break and can stand up on the defensive end. It's about when Maxey is in distress. Paul George and Joel Embiid are dinosaurs. The Sixers need some bounce out there on that floor. They need athletes, like the general manager and president of basketball operations has said.
Yeah, they have it. In my theory, they might not have heard at the beginning, is that they re-signed Quentin Grimes. He's a restricted free agent. I think they can get at him and match anything. So he's who I would start with Tyrese Maxey. That solves your defensive issues right there. It also has size because he is closer to 6'5", 6'6". I take a little exception about Trey Johnson being just a taller version of Jared McCain because I think Jared McCain's actually a better defender than people might realize. I know Tyrese Maxey has his defensive shortcomings. I think he has worked on them. But Quentin Grimes is who I start alongside Tyrese Maxey. This number 3 pick is a guy that I see becoming a starter, but he is not a starter right for me from the jump. Quentin Grimes is my starter in that backcourt, and he is a tremendous defender, as we saw last year. Tremendous defender. I will put him in that tremendous category. I think he's in it.
It sounds like you're a little more optimistic about the Sixers next year than I am.
Well, listen, my bar is quite low. As you and I both know, we covered those games a lot, and I did get a little bit discouraged, which is hard for me. I'm a generally positive person, and winning only 5 of their last 35 games took a toll on me. But I tried to look for any positives. I found one in Quentin Grimes. I didn't find much else.
Okay, there you go. That's Grimes, by the way.
This is Grimes?
Yes, it's Grimes.
Oh, the Grimes that was married to Elon Musk?
That is correct.
Oh, I knew it.
There you go. Nice job. All right, so
Or married. I don't know if they're married or not.
I had this.
Whatever they were doing.
Yeah, they're both weirdos.
Yeah, they named their child like a bunch of letters.
Yeah, they did. So
I guess all names are a bunch of letters. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they didn't make any sense in their naming of their child.
That's why I put that there were some numbers in there too.
A bunch of letters.
Okay.
Yeah, my letters
like,
are
wait a minute.
M-I-K-E.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
get a lot of my
So,
parents use.
as soon as I said that, I was like, well, my letters are A-M-Y, so whatever.
All right, so Bill, when we had him here, remember him, right?
I've seen him before.
Yeah, who was right?
Who
so
is
when
he?
he was here, we had this conversation about how he's optimistic that if everybody comes back healthy, that the Sixers could be a dangerous contending team.
We had
my contention was, I think it's over.
I don't know that it's over. I don't see this. Last year, the expectation was if everybody plays, this is a top 2, top 3 team. So in theory, you're running it back for the large chunk of it. I mean, let's face it, 96% of their salary last year spent most of its time on the bench.
Yeah.
So if you're running it back, in theory, if everybody's healthy, you should have the same result as far as what you would want, a top 3. I don't know. From what I've seen from the East, I think it's a lot better than people expected. It did not look that way. That was the one thing, if you remember, like we were sitting there in December and the Sixers couldn't win, you're thinking, well, the East, no one's run away with it. Even if they had gotten something together, you thought that East was still a manageable expectation to try to be one of the top teams in the East. I don't know that that's the case. I also don't know my expectations are still top 3. I cannot expect that team to be 100% healthy. That expectation is not there.
Everybody healthy is an impossibility.
No, and I mean that's not. It's not remotely true for any team, but it's certainly not true for this team. It's the expectations are, how do you manage the minutes and games that you don't have your top guys? How can you maximize everybody else? That's what the mindset has to be. And for me, it's about getting as much scoring as humanly possible. Like, defense is all well and good, and I appreciate that Quentin Grimes, if they're able to re-sign him, which I think that they will be, is going to be able to play defense. But more importantly, he's going to need to be the guy that he showed when he scored 20 points for what was it, like 8 straight games or
can't see that
10 of 11. And I don't know, because he was the only option, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was the only option.
Somebody's got to score, and when you're the only
you
option,
need to have
score.
scoring. If there's one thing we learned from watching the playoffs, is it's just the old tried and true of the Nick way didn't work.
Correct. There we go. Grimes going to take us into the break.
That's right.
Go ahead, Grimes. Let me get some lyrics. Can I get some lyrics? Can I get her singing?
Do they have lyrics?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here she goes.
I am in it.
I am in it. There you
That
go.
is atrociously bad.
It's Grimesy.
I did not know she sang,
Oh, that's
too.
a great song. It's called.
I thought it was just like
called
digital, like
Kill v. Maim. The song.
Kill versus Maim?
Yeah.
So does she understand that that's a...
That's the name of the song.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's
good.
I like that that's a good
Kill
poll.
Kill v. Maim.
I was just going to comment on the fact that her first line was, I got in a fight.
I got in a fight.
Might not be the most notable of that relationship.
No.
Hey.
Yeah,
Hey, here he is.
610-632-0975. Jeff in Collingswood, you're up next. He wants to talk about Luzardo. And we talked about him early in the first hour of the show, but we haven't gotten back to the Phillies talk. We'll get back to that after this.
Andrew Salciunas, Sean Kincade.
111. I think I'm causing trouble. I just got a text back from Barkley. What did Adam say?
He needs to.
What did I
I mean, it is.
Oh, boy.
What did I tell him?
How does no one tell him that? He
I don't know.
basically just railed on him
Apparently
for
he hasn't heard. He
5
hasn't heard
minutes.
it yet.
I
On
didn't
his
know what he
buddy
was talking
Dan
about.
Patrick's show.
Yeah, that's true.
He said it on the Dan
Yeah,
Patrick.
it was on the Dan Patrick show. Yeah.
Oh, you can you give me
Gotta
that
link
give me
that.
that sound bite
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and send it to me and I'll forward it to him.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, we'll get it.
I'm gonna get like instant reaction.
gonna
I
have-
wish there was like somebody recording his face while he's listening to what Adam Silver had to say about him.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to know if he can come on the show for a few minutes, and he didn't answer that yet until what did Adam say? So now when I find out, I send him what Adam said.
Then he's like,
yeah, that'll come on.
yeah.
So
That's
that's the method of my madness. 610-632-0975. Back to the phones. Jeff in Collingswood. Jeff, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Mike. Great show, man. I love
up,
Jamie,
Jeff?
too.
How you doing?
What's happening, man? Pretty good, pretty good. This Luzardo thing, it's been bothering me. In this day with AI, they analyze every pitch, every game.
Yeah.
They saw that he was doing it the first outing.
Yeah.
They claim that it took them 2 outings to figure this out.
Yes.
That don't make sense. They're either lying or somebody didn't do that job.
That's a good point by you. It's a good pull. Like I thought they were taking shots in the dark that he was tipping his pitches. I don't know. I don't know if he was or not. I mean, we had Jason Stark on. We couldn't get the exact way he was tipping his pitches. So I don't know.
It's on YouTube now. There's a video.
Yeah, there is a video. There's
really?
a couple out there. Yeah, like a side by side. You can see the ball is more visible in the glove on the previous two, but I think it goes to more about, because if you're tipping pitches, that's one thing. If you know what's coming, but there's sometimes you do know what's coming and you still have, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think that the slider is probably his use of or lack thereof this past outing.
I think you're right about
is a little bit more.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's a combination of stuff.
probably.
I agree with you on the
You
Indiana.
shouldn't be
thing.
able to be seeing the pitches. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. I agree with you guys on that or with Mike on the Indiana. It's just not a great series.
It is, but it is.
Right
You know,
with you on
it's
that.
the thing. They play.
It's technically a
I
good
love the way
series.
both teams play. I really do. I don't know. It hasn't drawn me to the TV seeing Oklahoma City. I thought they were the much better team. I guess they're not now. So the Pacers could win the NBA championship for crying out loud. But it just seems like I'm not prepared to have the Pacers be an NBA champion.
No, I feel you, Mike. I know exactly where you're coming
You know
from.
what I'm
I love
saying?
that.
Like,
For some
oh
reason,
man,
I can't put my
OKC and
finger on it.
Indiana's on
Yeah.
tonight. Let me flock to the TV. It's not bringing me to the TV, even though I know I'm going to see decent basketball, and I love Tyrese Halliburton.
I'm right with you, man.
All right,
You guys have a great day.
All right, so what do we do to correct this, Jeff? What do we do? we need therapy or what? I should have asked my man, Mitchell Green.
It's just small. It's the small market. It's the small market.
I guess it is. But you know what? There's no idiot celebrity fans. You know, there's no Spike Lee.
Do you need them?
I kind of do. I kind of need the
All
celebrities
right,
to be
well,
in
get on that. Well, I just love seeing like the atmosphere and these. I mean, because these are two fan bases that are so fervent and so grateful for their team. You know what I mean, there is no expectation.
Yeah.
Right. Oklahoma City is they're always have been supportive of their team, and obviously in Indiana, basketball is second to God. But it's that to me is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well,
he's not getting back in though. You're out.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's a tremendous player. He's the
He is.
MVP.
And rightfully so. I want a little chunk of change
fantastic.
on that.
I love Indiana's role players like Neesmith and
TJ McConnell.
And a double single who comes off the bench who does a lot of good stuff.
He does.
Yeah, he does. He's a scrapper. He's a hustler.
Correct.
Yeah, I love it. I love those scrappy hustler type players.
I could tell.
Who really don't have talent. That's
That's
why I watch the NBA. All right.
But you have Shea
Mike, I can't believe it.
You have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
I can't believe you're still going on.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Isaiah Hartenstein, who we all remember from last year.
Yeah.
Grabbing rebounds left and right.
He has no talent either. But,
he has a rebound talent. That's what he does.
He does have a rebound.
He's a one-trick
They have
pony,
role
and it's a
players.
great
Look at
trick.
this team. Both these teams.
They have star.
Tremendous role players. That fill
Well, Jalen Williams is the Jalen Williams whatever the plural of Williams is.
Yeah.
Those. I mean, Jalen Williams, the starter, is he's a very, very good player.
Yes,
That's. I mean, I don't want to call him a role player because he's an absolute. He's a star in the making. If there's anything that any teams around there that are struggling, the Wizards should take a look at and see how the Thunder have built their team. It's impressive.
Let me ask you a question. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about today. Aaron Rodgers said he's married. You buying it? I think it's horse poppycock.
I think he is married.
You do? I think it's BS.
You think he's just like, well, he just...
Yeah, I think he throws it out there because that's what he wants people to
focus on?
Yeah,
or to think about?
To think. Like he should be married, so let me give him this tidbit. Yeah,
do you think he cares about what people think, if he's married or not?
I think he's playing with people.
Well,
just like when
that may be.
Yeah, like how in the world could he have gotten married so quietly that no one on earth...
He got married in his cave.
Would have...
That's why.
Somebody would have had to have leaked that. No?
Maybe Brittany, with an I at the end, is
that his...
that's what... So the deep dive on it was apparently, because he used to be on the McAfee show. I don't know if he's continuing that or not. He was on Pat McAfee's show. In December, he said he was... I think it was some time ago, he said he was dating this girl named Brittany. And then later he said that he was in a serious relationship with this girl. And then now he shows up when he's signing and he has a ring on. Listen, I mean, if it was in Philadelphia, we would have already discovered that. Pittsburgh's just like, here we go. Here's this guy. They're not going to, I don't know how many deep dives people are going to like be staking out his apartment. And
I think it's a fake ring.
I'm sure the ring is real.
I mean, I think it's a fake presentation.
The ring is just there?
I think it's like the married man ploy or the single man ploy to wear a wedding ring so you attract other people. That was a sign.
Okay.
Too, right?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
That was the premise of a whole movie, right? It was a Sandler movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this theory, because the man is wearing a wedding ring, people are more interested. Women are more interested in him.
That's the theory of that behind that.
The idea behind it, is more this guy's off the market. It's a lot easier. You're not going in with a conversation of, oh, this guy's trying to hit on me. He's a married man. It's very easy to have that conversation.
But in that theory, Aaron Rodgers is out and about.
I don't think he's doing it for that reason.
Squirrel Hill down there in Pittsburgh.
No, I don't think
hanging out.
What are you saying about the women on the western side of this state?
Listen, he's the one that's out and about.
but I'm not. I don't think he's doing it to be out and about.
He's out there in the garment district, just I
think he's doing it to mess with people. I think that's what.
Well, now that may be.
Off.
I think he does kind of do stuff that's weird.
Exactly.
But it also wouldn't surprise me. I was telling these guys beforehand, like. He was engaged to the actress Shailene Woodley.
Yes.
And she didn't even know where he was from.
Yes.
So I think he does a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't surprise me that he was married in secret and he just told her, you can't tell a soul or you'll be cut out of whatever monetary.
But there's got to be somebody else who's there at the wedding. It's not like he can't marry himself.
His shaman from his, cave days and whoever was there to sign the paper. You only need 2 people, 2 witnesses, right? Or just 1. Or in Pennsylvania, you actually don't. If you get married as a Quaker, you can just have yourselves.
Really?
Fun fact: if you got married in Pennsylvania,
you can marry yourself.
If you're a Quaker, yes.
If you're a Quaker, you can go through
Correct.
And say a few words, and you're
married. Listen, I've been ordained, and so I married my friends, and so I looked into that, and I realized that afterwards. I was
You've married friends?
I have. I married my good friend Jen Daniels and her husband Rob.
Could you have married Aaron Rodgers, and you're not telling us?
Maybe I was over in Pittsburgh.
I'm going to show up here with the wedding ring one day and just say I got married. Just see how long the bit lasts.
There's no way.
On the other side, I want to know how you got ordained. This is a fascinating story. This is something I didn't know about you. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies take 2 of 3. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 7-2 over the Cubs Wednesday afternoon, taking 2 of 3 from the NL Central leaders. Kyle Schwarber, Alec Boehm homered in the win. Jesus Luzardo bounced back after 2 brutal starts. Luzardo going 6 innings, striking out 10 batters, allowing just 1 run in the win. The Phillies now have a day off before opening up a 3-game set against the Blue Jays. It'll be Ranger Suarez against Kevin Gausman as the matchup on the mound on Friday night at 6:45 at Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles are still 6 weeks away from training camp. The conversation around this team, of course, what's going to happen with a lot of the roster battles, positional battles you've got going into training camp. Cornerback is one of those positions, and there's an all-pro out there. Jair Alexander released by the Packers earlier this week. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas this week and talked about Alexander's thought process.
He wanted his freedom and choose a spot where he might not make as much, but where he would wind up doing a one-year deal and keep his eye on free agency in 2026.
We'll keep an eye on where he ends up going. In the NBA, the Pacers beat the Thunder in Game 3 of the Finals, taking a 2-1 series lead last night. This update's brought to you by the Electrical Workers Local 269, the Electrical Training Alliance, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 269, and the Electrical Training Alliance can offer a career with no college debt. To learn more, go to IBEW269.com. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA Finals action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Join 97.5.
26, Mike Missanelli Show. You want to get in at 610-632-0975. When we last left Amy, she was telling us about how she can marry people.
I need to double check that I'm still. It was from 2015.
All right, so you got certified.
Yes.
All right, how did you do this? And you did it for a friend of yours.
I did. Did it for a friend of ours. I married her on our balcony in South Philadelphia, overlooking the city. Lovely day in March.
Oh, my.
I think I literally Googled how to ordain yourself.
Really?
Yes.
And so what was the process?
My process was filling out a form. It was on openministry.org.
Openministry.org.
Yeah, minister packages. Yep. I'm sure. I don't even know if they exist anymore.
Oh, hold a second. So what does it entail? You pay a fee, and they say
yeah, there's a fee, and I had answered some forms. I think that I don't even know if they did a background check. You just put in some stuff. I paid a fee, and it said. I called the registrar's office at Philadelphia to make sure like it was going to be legal. Like, well, as long as you have your ordination certificate, which I got obviously, and I said sure. But that's when after I called the registrar's office here, where you register the wedding, because you have to register your wedding, right? You go for marriage license, whomever married you signs it, and then you submit it. And then they mail you back, and now you get your official. That's when I found out in my research that they didn't even need me. They could have just identified as Quakers and married themselves. One of the few states that can do that.
So wait a minute. I want to know about the business that's certified.
Oh, there's a lot of these. It's
really?
Yeah.
Like, can I open a business and say,
I
you
don't
come here for certification?
I
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you're certified.
Know that they would recognize you.
What?
There is a church. It's like an online church. Here, I'll pull up my
It's
certificate.
Latvian Orthodox, right? That's the church.
It's yeah. So I being an ordained minister. Thank you for getting ordained with our ministry. So it is a recognized church. And then I joined technically the church, and then they ordained me in their church. So you have to be a recognized church. That's why it's an ORG. But it's a for-profit.
Oh, well, how about that?
A fun fact. My ordination date was March
businesses
20th, 2015.
And that was the day.
That was the
you
day that I was
became-
ordained, and then I married my friends about 2 weeks
look
later.
At that. Now, and it's no longer valid?
I've never renewed it. I don't know how that works. I don't know if you have to renew it.
If it lasts a decade, you just passed.
Yeah, so I just missed
you just
it.
didn't renew
It's like a passport.
What
I
was the fee? If I may ask.
I was trying to pull up my. It doesn't have it. Just says that I'm ordained. I have my certificate. But I went to the website and it says, "Hi, we're currently working on getting set up."
Oh no!
So it doesn't. Listen, their marriage is already done. They've been married now for 10 years. They're all good.
Marriage,
They're all good.
not real. Your ordainship,
So,
not
no,
real.
their city has recognized it. The city has recognized
Did
it.
you get a call to do more? Now that
No, I
once
did this
the
specifically
word
for
got
my
out?
friend Jen.
Okay, yeah,
She
but the
would-
word got out. So
People
you
did
like,
know
you
it
were-
worked. Jen and I
you
used
were
to work
legit.
together. She worked at Comcast Sportsnet, now NBC Sports Philadelphia at the time. So yes, so I guess people, if you wanted to hire, listen, I will. If someone wants me to marry them, I will absolutely go through another ministry.
Do you know how many people would want you to marry him?
Why? I took it very
You're a
seriously.
celebrity.
I
You're like
dressed. That's a loose
TV
term.
celebrity.
I dressed up. I had like a little preparation. I met with Jen and Rob, and what do you want me to say? And I filmed the whole thing. I did like a legit thing. Well, she's one of my best friends. So
In 20 years, I'm giving you a call.
is it good? 20 years from now?
Yeah. Arbitrary
before
time
then?
thrown out.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
All right. So Ray,
Count me in, Ray.
Ray just sent me this thing. Ray, can we play what Adam Silver said about Charles? Because I'm trying to create controversy here. Chuck and I are going back and forth. He wants to know what Adam said. So let's let the people who didn't hear, this was on the news at noon, what Adam Silver was saying about Inside the NBA show.
They made a decision to take an entertainment route with that studio show. I mean, I think ESPN was always about more hardcore basketball. Maybe NBC was somewhere in the middle in the old days, but it's an entertainment show, and he's entertaining, and fans seem to love it. Sometimes he's a bit of the crazy uncle, I think, but even when I think there's a difference when putting aside, how focused he is on the game. My sense always, when Charles is critical, it is a little bit like your uncle at the Thanksgiving table being critical. It's like, there's no doubt it comes from a place of love. I don't feel the same way about some of the other commentators. And I think Charles found a lane, and he does it well. and it'll be interesting to see how that converts. As you know, they're now bringing that studio show to ESPN and ABC next year.
Yeah.
I think, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I love the fact that those guys are still going to be involved in our telecast, but, I'm not sure whether it will be produced differently for them or there'll be a different expectation from ESPN and ABC fans or watchers than maybe what people are seeing late at night on TNT.
All right, there you go. There you go. Call him the crazy uncle.
It comes from a place of love, not knowledge, is exactly what's implied there.
The seam keeps throwing me off. Fans seem
to like this.
I don't need to tell Charles it came from a position.
It seemed to like it. They obviously did like it. And two, it's like, why would they like this? It's just an entertainment show. ESPN has long done good basketball hardcore.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Their show
Stop
is
it.
terrible, by the way.
I like people on ESPN, but hardcore basketball.
Stop it. Yeah, Kendrick Perkins, hardcore basketball. Stop.
All right, so this is what I said to Charles.
Stop it.
What did Adam say? Called you the crazy uncle. Ha ha ha.
That's exactly. Did crazy uncle at the table. That it comes from a place of love, not knowledge.
Let's go back to the text board. What somebody said something about Charles? All right.
Yeah,
what's
somebody
the text
chimed
say?
in earlier about Charles. Let me get back to where, News at Noon happened. People, there we go. Linda and Lansdale talking about Silver's comments on Charles and the NBA on TNT being something fans seem to like shows you exactly how out of touch or insignificant his opinion of fans actually is.
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Check. Understood.
Now, what is the text about you?
Oh, what?
First off,
Ray, did you get broiled, Ray, on the text?
I enjoy these. I know people send these in and that they think that like I'm going to lose my day, like my day's going to be ruined by them. But this was actually nice to start. First off, I think Ray is terrific. I'm a huge Temple Owens basketball fan, never miss a game. But every time I hear Ray, his voice reminds me of McLovin from Superbad. Keep up the good work. Love the show.
You look a little like McLovin.
I knew that was coming next. That was a 1-2 hook right there. I'm knocked out on the floor.
You got a little McLovin look about you. Slight McLovin look.
They let you pick your name when you go down there. It was between that or Mohammed.
All right, so it was baseball talk. This was another interesting thing. That's all. They poll. The Athletic does a lot of polls with players and such. So they asked a bunch of baseball players, like over 120 baseball players, which manager, aside from your own, would you most like to play for? Was topper on the list, Amy.
How many lists do I mean, how many on my list?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Yes.
12, 13, 14, 15.
15, yes, he's on my list.
Incorrect. None. He got 0 votes.
How many players did they ask?
They asked 121 respondents. They had
121. Respondents means they asked a bunch and only 121 responded.
Responded.
It's an important distinction.
Yeah. But 121 is 121. Who won it? Very popular
Aaron Boone.
manager. No, it was not Aaron Boone. In fact, Aaron Boone is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. He's ninth.
I'm thinking like former
Aaron
players.
Boone is ninth.
Is it a former player that's a manager?
Very successful manager, probably a Hall of Famer who came back to manage.
Who came back to manage?
Yes.
Well, I feel like that's a couple of people that have come back to manage. Oh, Tito. Terry Francona.
Tito's 2 on the list.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Number 1, Bruce Bochy.
Oh, Bochy. Wow.
Number 3, very interesting, Stephen Vogt
I
from
think
the
people
Guardians.
really like him. I know people really like him.
Craig Counsell, 4th.
He's another former player.
5th, tied. Brian Snicker, really? And Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts does not surprise me on that list at all.
Alex Cora is next with Carlos Mendoza from the Mets.
Former player.
Aaron Boone.
Yep.
A.J. Hinch. Ron Washington. Clayton McCullough.
Clayton
The
McCullough.
Marlins. What? Kevin Cash. Mike Schilt. Bob Melvin. Dusty Baker got a vote.
Yeah, of course he did. The Marlins manager?
The Marlins manager.
Come on.
All right.
Over Topper? Oh,
Which manager
Topper
aside
seems like
from
a
your
player's coach to me.
Yeah. Which manager aside from your own would you not want to play for? Winner. Tie.
Aaron Boone.
One guy just got fired.
Who just got? Who was down? The Orioles?
No, the Colorado Rockies.
Oh well, they don't. Who does it mean you have to play for the Rockies? Is that why?
Bud Black and Ollie Marmol from the Cardinals. And they're having a good year.
Yeah, I don't know why people. Maybe he's a prickly fella.
Maybe he is a little prickly.
Is anybody on the first list that's on the second list?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah,
that's usually how this goes. Like I feel like Aaron Boone might be on that list. And
which organizations have good reputations among players, and which have bad reputations?
the ones that pay the most money are the ones that are going to be at the top of that list.
Meaning what?
Meaning the Phillies, the Mets.
No,
the
not Phillies aren't on. No,
They're
the
not?
Phillies are way down on the list.
Mets.
Nope.
I wouldn't. That would be like I would never vote for
The
them.
two obvious ones.
Yankees.
Dodgers and
Yeah.
Yankees.
Yeah.
Dodgers, Yankees. Next.
Where they win and pay.
Yeah. Next, Braves.
They've had a history of success.
Next, Cubs.
I get that.
Next, Guardians.
Don't get that.
Then Mets, Red Sox, Rangers, Astros, Rays,
Then
and
the
the Phillies.
The Rays.
The Rays are ahead of the Phillies.
I would love to know who these 121 players are.
All right. 610-632-0975.
The Rays don't even have a stadium right now.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Ricky Bo.
Coming down the home stretch, Mike Missanelli Show. Amy Fadul with me today. We'll be back tomorrow as well. Had a little fun day today.
What's fun day?
Chat board. First time I've been on a chat board looking at the chat. And Ray just got a McLovin reference, but somebody saying you look like the actor who plays cricket on Always Sunny. Well, I don't know who that is. I don't watch that show. Do you watch that show?
I
It's
don't.
Always Sunny in
I
Philadelphia?
used to. I haven't watched it
Really?
recently.
Who's
Cricket.
Who's cricket?
On.
Always Sunday.
Did you just
David
Google it?
Hornsby, but
David Hornsby.
Yeah.
but his appearances on Always Sunny are not.
yeah.
He's not a flattering character.
Well,
No?
him otherwise, you look like his other, what he looks like without the scraggliness.
I gotta go home and I gotta think about this all day now. Hey, let's do that.
But
soon.
like, there's other nice pictures of him when he's on.
When he's not on Always Sunny, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's not
that
a
was the
compliment.
reference.
It's you should look it up. It's actually like pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of awful, actually.
Yeah. He's like a homeless.
How am I supposed to look in the mirror?
Yeah, he looks like.
I'm gonna go home.
Hold on, I'll
look
find
in
a
the
picture.
mirror
I'll
for
send
an
it to you.
hour.
Got a complex that
There you go.
somebody on the chat board said it? Come on, man. My man here, 215J Philly, says, Welp, it's about that time of day, about to watch some anime and smoke a blunt and nap.
Look, I just passed you my phone. That's what he. That's what he. That's
this is
cricket.
cricket?
on-
Oh, no. That's not right. That's not right.
So,
not.
but the
That's
guy,
wrong,
the
Ray.
guy normally I could see, but no, that's not what he. That's not.
So what is cricket in the show? What's he do? He's a homeless guy?
I don't know,
like
but it's not a flattering look.
Yeah, you got to shave. You got to shave the side of your head and put scabs on it or something.
Yeah, miss some teeth.
Yeah, miss teeth. Yeah, that was rough.
That's a rough one.
Not nice.
All right.
Yeah, his name's like Rickety Cricket or something.
Amy, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. But I
do
was reading this fascinating story about how baseball players. They
Oh,
think
yeah.
There are misconceptions out there. So what they want people to know is they don't get to spend much time with family. They lack a lot of family time. They can't go to events, go to weddings and stuff like that with their family. Summer weddings because they're playing baseball. Is that a legitimate thing?
I mean, that's factually correct,
Yeah.
but it's hard to say.
Should we feel bad?
No. I hope that the end of that sentence, whoever was saying that was like, and you should feel bad for us with our millions of dollars.
Traveling.
We all have to do that.
Traveling can be miserable.
There's no way it's miserable. I get that it's a grind. There's people that just see. I'm not one of those people. There are some people that just hate traveling no matter what. But these guys are all they're on private charters. It's a lot different from when you and I go to the airport.
They have never carried a bag ever.
I mean, they carry their duffel. You see them walking in.
Occasionally. They say, well, you're packing every single week. You're getting in late, and you have to play the next night.
I'm sure that's. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never played, but I can't imagine it's. I hope these are not said with. So you should feel bad for us.
That's what it's being said.
See that? No.
Okay.
No.
Long
you can
day.
acknowledge the fact that it's a tough.
Yeah.
It's the longest season of any of the sports, and that they're the only one that plays 15 days in a row.
They have a long day at the ballpark because they get there early and they leave late.
Their early is different though.
It's 1 o'clock.
So, and they leave at 10:30.
Yeah. Get home maybe midnight, by midnight.
I mean, I'm usually home at midnight.
Yeah. There is no nightlife. They have no nightlife whatsoever.
Do they need nightlife?
No.
Maybe that's a good thing.
No, because they're playing ball. They haven't had summer vacations. Oh, come on. You got a 4-month
This is a real.
vacation.
Are these the same 121 that had the Mets are an organization they want to work for? Like, come on. And the Rays are great.
This is just
Come on.
A lot of players are surveyed here.
That's like saying a basketball player is saying like, I missed Christmas. Yeah, that's the goal.
The money isn't as good for some people as some people think. Now, the minimum salary in baseball is what?
100-something thousand.
760,000.
760,000.
That's the minimum. Yes.
$750,000.
That's correct.
That's our minimum here for producers as well.
And the median salary in baseball is what?
$5 million.
That is correct. $5 million.
Oh, I was just on baseball. Because obviously there's some really top-heavy contracts.
Right on the button. Now, listen, I know I've played a lot of baseball in my life. I know how hard it is. It's hard. it's hard to have success, consistent success. I get it. I get the mental angst that you go through. But don't give me the travel. Please.
Yeah. I'll give you everything else. The travel being really hard.
No.
I've been on team charters. It's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
It's so nice.
To even bring that up. You never have to make a reservation ever.
You
for
literally
yourself.
go walk on the tarmac.
Right. You don't have any delays.
There's no security. You have a different security whole line. Everything is completely different.
Come on.
When you ride on those team charters, you have your own security line. They check your bag a different way. The whole thing is, you don't wait in a turnstile to get your bag back.
No.
It's right there for you.
One
It's
National
amazing.
League pitcher said this. The biggest misconception is that people look at you like you're a multi-millionaire because you're in the big leagues. Don't get me wrong. We make good money. But people ask me how many homes I got. It's not like that in your first year. You're making the minimum, which is good money, but it's not like you're crazy rich. You know, at $760,000, a lot of people would think they're crazy rich.
I mean, I get it. If you're making $760,000 a year, you probably don't have 5 houses. But if you're making $50 million a year, you do. So I hear you. And the other thing about the private flights is all the rules that happen on commercial flights, none of those exist.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have your seat reclined during takeoff. You can stand up if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You can have that tray table down and up 85 times during takeoff and landing.
But here's the other thing.
Farce.
You don't have to suffer like this. Right? If you don't
like it.
Right. You always have the option of being a regular, everyday schmo.
Oh, no.
Now,
Yeah.
would they choose the schmo part? I don't think so.
Schmoes don't make $800,000.
Fanatic deal of the week. I got to mention it.
It's a good
It's 80 Steel Pier ride tickets for just $42.50. That's half price. You can take advantage of the tremendous summer savings for the Steel Pier, the Atlantic City Boardwalk's premier amusement destination. You know what they used to do at the Steel Pier back in the day? There was the diving horse.
An actual horse?
An actual horse with somebody riding the horse would actually jump off the
I feel
pier.
like John and Andrew might have mentioned that. Where did I hear that? Have I already heard this, or did I just...
That's what it was known for back in the day. The Steel Pier, the horse would jump off the pier.
Was there a person on the horse?
Yes.
Listen.
You plunge into the water.
No surprise that doesn't
Now,
exist
I don't know
anymore.
what happened to the horse at that point. You're jumping in the ocean. Now, what would they? Does the horse swim?
Well, horses do know how to...
Right. Can we get some information on that?
Horses...
Our research department's working on it right
now. The diving horse? It's called the diving horse, I think.
I'm all over it. This is fascinating. Yeah. We've learned about... yes, pierogi, I think, being the overriding one.
Right. Pierogi is plural.
Pirogue.
It's a pirogue. Nope. Diving horse.
Diving horse, Atlantic City. It was a real thing for 50 years.
Uh-huh.
There is pictures of it. The horse is absolutely diving in.
Oh my.
It was from 1929 to 1978, 60 feet into the water or a water tank. It was like a very, very large.
See, that would never happen today because of cruelty to animals, right? You couldn't do that with a horse.
If I was a horse, I would be like, nah, I'm good. Not doing that.
Well, you couldn't do that today.
No,
you can't mistreat a horse by having it dive. Come on. I feel bad for the horse now.
I do too.
The horse that did it for all those years. 50 years, boy, he won.
One of the former diving horse riders was Sarah Detweiler Hart, wife of the late
Gene Hart. Get out of here.
Down the shore.
Gene Hart's wife was the rider?
One of them, yes. She was a former diving horse rider. Apparently, the riders had more potential at injury than the horses did. I don't know why that is. I'm also never doing anything like that. But yeah.
Well, I guess the horse, rather than gallop up and down on a track, that's probably dangerous. But going into a soft landing into the water, maybe it's not.
Their leg bones are so
they are
small.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No. So it ended in 1978.
It did. It ended because of the
I think PETA probably was like,
people,
or I don't even know if it was PETA, but somebody was just like, you know what's not a great idea is to launch a horse into the water.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Maybe not the best thing for the horse.
Definitely not.
Maybe he doesn't want to do that.
Well, no, absolutely.
But yeah, fun fact there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Anyway, Ray, to wrap up the show, do we have any text?
Yeah, we got a couple people from earlier in the show speaking of things we learned about your snacking in bed. The text line was split on it. We got a complete violation from a couple of people. We had someone else that said there's nothing better than eating in bed.
How do you not snack in
I don't
bed?
think it was a complete violation.
I'm watching a TV show and I got like a bag of popcorn.
There's no way you can't have popcorn in there. That is absolutely going everywhere.
No, you get a couple kernels at a time. I don't spill popcorn. What do you do? Grab a fistful? I don't grab.
I do. Like, I would have it in my hand and I eat it from out of my hand.
You're a fistful man?
Yeah, I eat it out
of my hand.
I know in bed that you're going to spill, so I don't want it in. So I just do a couple at a time. Okay. It's like one kernel at a time. It's like chewing tobacco.
I just feel like you're setting yourself up for some kind of crumb situation there.
I don't know. It calms me down. I got one kernel at a time watching a show. Right. You know, this is how I wind down in my busy day, my hectic life of trying to entertain the masses.
I appreciate your ability to wind down.
Which I rarely succeed.
I don't know about some snackies.
It's like a
try it.
Like we talked about the batter, getting in the batter's box, saying I gotta get ahead, gotta get hit. I go to bed, I gotta entertain. Yeah,
I think you've been successful today.
It's a burden. It's not as much a burden as the travel Major League Baseball players, but it's close. In any event, we had fun today.
I had a lot of fun. I'm excited about coming back tomorrow.
Coming back tomorrow for a Friday show. You got anything we should talk about tomorrow?
I don't know, but I'm going to find
Phillies don't play tonight.
I have to find an obscure movie reference hat to wear for tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a one and done. And thanks to Mike from Cosme's who brought that to me yesterday.
That's a great hat.
Yeah, it was really nice of him. And we share the same kind of movie affections, especially for this movie, which is one of the most underrated sports movies of all time. And I should put it in my top 5. But I don't. I don't have it.
Great movie?
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. It's not a
solid movie.
Bill would call it a great movie.
It's a
anyway, stay tuned for Unfiltered. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.